Two names rich in history: Bartons, our family-run business with over 100 years of experience in drinks distribution, and Lancashire Cricket, a club drenched in tradition, heritage and globally recognised moments. Since 1917, Bartons has been supplying the finest wines, soft drinks and premium beverages across the UK, partnering with world-class brands to bring unforgettable experiences to every occasion. Now, we're excited to announce we will be bringing that same passion to cricket fans at Emirates Old Trafford. As the official wine, spirits and soft drinks partner of Lancashire Cricket, we're elevating matchday experiences, hospitality and celebrations across the next 3 years. From the first ball to the final cheers, Bartons is here to make every moment one to savour. Keep an eye out for some familiar brands such as Guinness, Celavino, VK Hooch and Britvic. Bartons and Lancashire Cricket, a partnership built on passion, unforgettable moments and history.
is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary.
Welcome to the opening day. Oh, that is a wonderful shot.
This is a call for hungry dreamers and hard-working self-believers. Success is down to more than just luck and talent. It's striving to be the best, breaking the boundaries and never giving up. Are you ready to become your best self? Are you ready to unlock your greatness? So what are you waiting for? This is Education Evolved. This is UA 92.
When I was a kid, there was no professional women's cricket. I didn't even think that women could be professional sports people.
Especially early on, it just didn't really seem like there was a career in it.
To support myself around cricket, I had to work at the petrol garage.
I was the only girl, so I stood out.
I'd love for young girls to be able to dream about being an athlete and it to be achievable.
Thanks to the Hilton funding my contract, it's allowed me to play the game that I love all day, every day.
We're like an engine and we need to be fueled with the right gas.
Without funding, we can't be visible. You can't be what you can't see.
As a team, it feels like we're breaking boundaries.
Thunder and Lancashire always want to put women's cricket at the forefront, and now I think that's really shining through.
It's mad to think that without the Hilton funding, like, we wouldn't be playing cricket every day, training.
Well, we could be, but we wouldn't have any money.
We wouldn't, yeah, true.
This is one that Lancs would feel they have to win.
You know, and that's what we want in women's cricket, competitive games.
Playing some really good cricket, so just trying to do that for longer.
Very good afternoon and a warm welcome from Emirates Old Trafford. It is bright, but it is very, very breezy here just outside the city centre of Manchester. We have another double header for you here this afternoon here at Emirates Old Trafford, starting with the Lancashire Thunder up against Hampshire Hawks women. A little bit later on, we've got Lancashire Lightning with Leicestershire Foxes, the visitors. Both of them, of course, in the T20 Vitality Blast. We're looking forward to it big time. Of course, that also means we've got two more chances for the possibility of somebody winning 2 tickets to Dubai with the Emirates First Ball Flyer. We haven't had one yet. There's always the possibility it might happen this afternoon. Looking forward to this game this afternoon. With me is Paul Shaw. Paul, good to see you once again. Great for the Thunder team to get their first victory under their belt in this competition at Durham over the course of the weekend.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a great bounce back for them, wasn't it, to travel up north and get a great win there, and then back here at Emirates Old Trafford today. I have to say it's a little more blustery than it was on Saturday when they played the Blaze. But I'm sure they'll be looking forward to try and get another win and their second win of this T20 Blast. Yeah, the conditions could be interesting today because we've had a little look at the wicket as well. With the conditions combined with that wicket, what are you thinking? Yeah, well, it looks a pretty good wicket, although there's a little bit more grass on than was here on Saturday. So new wicket, pretty firm, bit of grass on, so it might just carry a little bit more and have reasonable pace. And with the wind, we've got the wind coming down the ground, but also across the ground. So certainly the Thunder batters will be thinking about going with the wind if they're looking to target a boundary.
Obviously, we saw the Thunder batters get a big total against the Blaze here at the weekend, but in the end it turned out to be not quite enough. But you've got to have all different departments in your lineup functioning 100% in a game like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure they'll learnt a lot from Saturday's performance. They played really well. It was a great game of cricket for the people that came here to this fine stadium and watched the game. They just got pipped at the post by a really good Blaze side that I think batted really well to knock off that total. And today, I think, you know, they'll be looking for a good performance with the bat, with the ball, and obviously backed up in the field as well with some great fielding.
We're just keeping our eye on the wicket to see when the umpires are going to join us for the toss to decide who bats and who bowls. We'll keep you up to date with that as soon as we see it happening. Ellie Threlkeld for Lancashire Thunder, of course, and Georgia Adams for Hampshire Hawks women. That's still not happened at the moment, so perhaps running a tiny little bit behind perhaps. But just how much confidence will everybody have got from that game against Durham at the weekend, do you think, after what was a close but pretty disappointing defeat in the end against the Blaze?
Well, when you've had such a close defeat like the Thunder did on Saturday, it can take some getting over, but one of the great things is they jumped on the bus, the team coach, went up to Durham, played the game the next day in what was, I think, a pretty tight game, but played some decent cricket, got over the line, so they'll be really pleased to get the first win and bounce back. As a coach, you're always talking about bounce back, it's your next performance that's important. So I think they reflected well after the game here, travelled up north, played at Durham, got the win, travelled back down, trained, and now ready for a good performance here today against a very good Hampshire Hawks side. It was a tight game up at the Riverside, wasn't it, in the end? And the Thunder of old, some might argue, might not have necessarily pulled it out the bag, so to speak. But there is something different about the side this year. We saw it with them winning the T20 County Cup, as we keep referring to the FA Cup of cricket in many ways for the women. But that first professional trophy in the bag, how is that affecting confidence? What is it that is different about this side this year, do you think? Well, I think they know now that they can actually get their performances in, and the performances that they're having and the wins that they've managed to get under their belt so far this year has enabled them to grow confidence, grow belief, and then go down to Taunton and win that County Cup in a really positive and high quality performance down there. So it's that confidence and belief that comes from winning and a togetherness that grows within that, and actually you find yourself in situations and you just believe you can get through that situation and play the situation better than the opposition. Looks like the captains are just about ready. Shawsy, come with me. Let's walk over and see this in action as the umpires get ready to just explain the last few little rules and regulations before we get things underway with the two captains. It just looks like the toss is about to be taking place. Our umpires this afternoon, Steve O'Shaughnessy and Jasmine Naeem. Last introduction is just being made and the team sheets about to be handed over. As I say, bright and breezy. There's a lot of cloud here this afternoon as well, Paul. Yeah, there is. That might just create a little bit of swing from time to time and a little bit of nip off the pitch as well too. So the sheets are being handed over to the umpires as they make sure that they've got everything ready to go. Always the paperwork that needs to be sorted out just before we get to the business end of things. So it looks as though Steve O'Shaughnessy is just giving the final instructions. So Jasmine Naeem as well, also giving the last few words. Ellie and George are both paying close attention. Got to be careful if with the coin toss in this, that it doesn't blow off down the pitch here, which could be quite difficult. It's blowing a bit of a gale out here now. Ellie has the responsibility. There we go. So Georgia, by the looks of things, has won the toss, and it looks as though the decision has been made. Both captains just shaking hands, and we'll just get a quick picture with the two captains before we have a quick word with the pair of them. Let's have a quick word with Georgia to start with, seeing as she's won the toss, I think.
Oh, one last quick picture. I'm not going to join in with the pictures. Let's get the two captains in there. We go, ready to go. Georgia, come over and have a quick word with us. I understand you've won the toss, is that right?
Yeah, we won the toss and we're going to have a bowl.
And what's the thinking behind that?
I think just have a look at the pitch, really. I think settles us in T20 format. Pitch shouldn't change too much throughout the day. Get everyone out there and see what it's doing.
You got your first win over the course of the weekend. How much of a confidence booster was that for everybody?
Yeah, it's always nice to start a campaign with a win. I think it can give you momentum. The games obviously come pretty quick and fast in this format, so momentum's quite key. But yeah, we're only one game in, so we've got a long way ahead of us.
Key to that, though, was your batting unit. Everybody did really well with the bat, didn't they?
Yeah, Maya Boucher and Ella McCacken at the top was quite something the other day. They really put on a show for everyone and entertained, but they were phenomenal. I think especially Bouche, who went on and scored big, made it pretty easy for the rest of us to go out and have a bit of freedom.
Any changes to your side today?
Charlie Knott does come back into the side today alongside Naomi Ditani, who's back from injury.
Who we know about very, very well, of course.
Yeah, familiar territory for her, so it'd be nice to get her back.
Go well, Georgia. Thanks very much indeed. Let's get Ellie over. Ellie, unfortunately you've lost the toss, but what are your thoughts on the decision?
Yeah, looks a good pitch, so hopefully we can post a good score on the board and do well in the second innings to defend it.
First win at the weekend up at Durham. How did that feel?
Yeah, really good to get a win. I think cricket's a weird game, isn't it? Played really well on Saturday and lost, and definitely things we can improve on Sunday when we won. So hopefully looking to put a complete performance together today.
Going to be a last game for Katie Mack before she leaves us for a while. Just how much of a contribution has she made to this club?
Yeah, she's been brilliant from a cricket point of view and a great person as well. So everyone's really enjoyed having her around the group, and her contributions have been brilliant.
And any changes elsewhere to your side today?
Yes, Darcy Carter comes in for Sophie Eccleston.
Go well today. Thanks so much indeed for joining us, Ellie Feldkeld there. So there you have it, the view from the two captains there. We'll have the confirmed team news in just a moment, but let's take you back to the weekend when the Thunder got their first game underway here in the T20, when the Blaze were the team that came to town. So, as you've heard, Hampshire Hawks have won the toss and they've decided to bowl. And their team this afternoon is as follows: Maya Boucher, Ella McCaughan, Charlie Knott, Georgia Adams, the captain, Naomi Ditani, Rihanna Southby, Abby Norgrove, Mary Taylor, Freya Davis, Daisy Gibb, and Rebecca Tyson. And your Lancashire Thunder team for this afternoon is as follows. Katie Mack, Tilly Kesteven, Seren Smale, Fee Morris, Captain Ellie Threlkeld, Elsa Lister, Tara Norris, Darcy Carter, Grace Johnson, Grace Potts, and Sophie Morris.
"1864. We were first class then, and we're first class now. With a dream to spread cricket through Lancashire's towns, where girls and boys, with willow and leather, become more than a badge, but the red rose together.
A club where more than legends are made, but friendships, obsessions, moments replayed on our screens, in our minds, in our hearts forever. 'Cause it's who we are, our DNA, the red rose together.
Statham, Briggs, Jimmy, Freddie and Joss, Chappie, Sir Clive Lloyd, Carol Hodges, Kate Cross. What a roll call. It's a hard one to measure, with future names still to be written on the red rose together.
We're all about people. It's what the red rose really means. Yeah, the ones signing autographs, but the ones behind the scenes.
Our community, grassroots, the ones that feel tethered. Whether you're from here or belong here, we're the red rose together.
And what about this place? Talk about world-class venues, internationals, gigs, events. You can choose from a menu of triumph, of disaster, of pain, or pleasure.
We've seen it all at Emirates Old Trafford, with the red rose together.
Red ball, white ball, lightning and thunder.
Have you ever sat back? Have you ever just wondered how far we've come? The storms we've weathered, or how far we'll go as the red rose together.
So, as you mentioned, Hampshire Hawks have won the toss. They're going to have a bowl. We've had the confirmed team news in, as you just heard. Paul, what are your thoughts on the 11 that have been selected for the Thunder this afternoon?
Yeah, I think it's a good side. They've got a couple of injuries quite clear in. A number of the England players are with the England squad, so they're not as strong as they would like. But just looking at that team, I mean, we'd all be interested in how Katie Mack finishes. I think this is probably her last game, isn't it, in terms of this spell over here. Grace Potts with the ball, Fee Morris, dangerous bowler, and also Tilly Stevenson at the top of the order. Would be interesting how she goes, having played well in the first couple of games. Darcy Carter, of course, the off-spinner batter from Scotland, who I understand is a real character and has been really keen to play. And also Grace Johnson, a product of the Lancashire Thunder pathway, really, in academy. So I'm really interested to see how they all go today.
As you say, Katie Mack's last game, she's returning home after a successful first half of the summer. 351 runs in 10 matches across 50 over and T20 cricket, including a trio of half centuries. She's been absolutely superb in this spell, hasn't she?
I think she's been superb for this club last year, but certainly this year. The brand of cricket that she's playing, the way that she's playing, I think has been fantastic. Her average, her strike rate, all good. But also in the field, she's a very good competitor in the field. She covers the ground very quickly, is an outstanding fielder, and importantly is a really good character for this young Thunder side. So, you know, the professional behaviours that Reedy and Co are looking to instill, she'll be someone that's demonstrating those day in, day out.
For someone like Tilly Kesteven batting it, opening up with her, to have an experienced professional with the experience that she's got, you'd be soaking that up like a sponge, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Every conversation you can have possibly in between balls in the middle when you're training in the dressing room. And of course that's a new partnership, isn't it? It's only been 2 games, so those two are forming. The left and the right hand partnership, I think, works. and both very different in stature. You've got the very tall Tilly, haven't you, and they're slightly shorter in stature, more my size in terms of Katie Mack, but very, very explosive. A regular pocket rocket, so I think fantastic partnership, and I'm sure Tilly will pick up loads from Katie Mack.
That's got to be a nightmare for the bowlers, hasn't it? Two completely different, contrasting sizes of players. Of course, Katie Mack's replacement is going to be Alana King. Fingers crossed we might even see her at the weekend. That is another very explosive, exciting player, which fingers crossed we will be able to look forward to in the very near future.
I think that's a major coup of a signing. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Brilliant here at Old Trafford. We know that lots of spinners have had success, including the late, great Shane Warne on this very ground, the ball of the century. So I think from that perspective, I think she'll love playing here. I think the team will love having her, and I think she'll give the team that little bit of impetus and a different dynamic from a bowling perspective that perhaps the team needs going later into the stage of this competition.
One of the things we talked about with this Thunder side, and it was evident in that performance against Durham, was when the top order didn't necessarily fire as well as you had expected them to, as they did against the Blaze. The middle order really came into it. We saw Ellie Threlkel chipping in with 48 there, and Elsa Lister with 42. When you've got a middle order that can then chip in like that, that's got to be huge. It's important, isn't it?
Absolutely, very, very important. And Ellie's in such good nick, isn't she, all through this season. After a couple of first games, she's into her stride, going at more or less a runner ball, holding that middle order together, and it's great to see the young understudy to Ellie, really, for the gloves on, Elsa Lister, scoring runs and scoring some boundaries late on in that innings to enable Lancashire Thunder to win that game. So exciting that middle order's got both craft and explosiveness, but also a cricket nous to work through each situation.
You may have noticed our old friend warming up behind us, Lanky, as usual. It's going to be great to see him up to his usual antics throughout the afternoon, no doubt. He's really getting involved and enjoying himself with the band that are over there, just in the background. She might be able to give us a wave, Lanky. Come and say hello. Here he is, causing his usual mayhem, as you would expect. And he's going to come and join us, I think, now as well. As oh, blimey, here we go. I dread to think what's going to happen here. Let's have. Are you going to ask a few questions at Paulie? Oh, he's not quite sure. Do you think Lancashire are going to win today? Obviously, in both games. Absolutely. There you have it. So, Lanky, well and truly happy. Do you know the rules? Are you sure you know the rules, Lanky? Yeah? Just for a check, just to see. For a little reminder, here we go. Here's a reminder of the blast rules.
Each match is played by two teams of 11 players. Some are batters, some are bowlers, and there's one wicket-keeper. Both teams have a chance to bat and bowl. Look out for the coin toss. That's how they decide which team bats or bowls first. Each team has 20 overs to score as many runs as possible. The team with the most runs wins the game. 1 over is made up of 6 good deliveries from the bowler. To score runs, batters hit the ball and run between the stumps. If the ball reaches the boundary, it's 4 runs, and if it gets there without bouncing, that's a 6. While the batting team is scoring runs, the bowling team are trying to stop them and get the batters out by taking wickets. A few ways batters can be out are bowled, caught, run out, stumped, and LBW. Watch out for signals from the umpires, 4s, 6s, wickets, and these when a bad delivery has been bowled. Bad deliveries add runs to the batting team's score, and the bowler must bowl an extra ball. If you see the umpire doing this, the next ball is a free hit, and the batter cannot be out, bowled, caught, LBW, or stumped. And those are all the basics you need to know to get behind your team in this year's Vitality Blast competition.
Here I am in C stand. I've got, sorry, what are your names here? It's Dana?
Dana, Ellie.
Nick. And where are you guys from?
Cumbria, near Preston.
Warrington. All right, so you've not come too far. You've come a fair way, though, obviously. But this is your first game, I understand. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm quite excited for it.
What have they told you about cricket and what it's like?
They've told me when to hold this up Yep.
That's very important.
I need to get prodded when this happens.
Don't worry, you'll know.
And then my years at primary school taught me well that you have to hit the ball, get it as far out as possible. That's about it. But they teach me as we go.
How much are you looking forward to this game? Are you excited to play today?
I am. I'm looking forward to it, yeah.
Are you confident we're going to see a Lancashire Thunder win?
I'm hoping so.
Nick, what about you on the end? Presumably you come to a lot of these games. How much are you looking forward to it today?
That's the first one of the year for us, so that'll be good. I haven't seen them win yet, but I'm hoping that'll change.
Well, let's hope that changes today. You've got a nice picnic here as well. Just show me what you've got going on in here. Look at this. Hang on. These look like, what are these? Waves. These are what? Sour cream and black pepper multigrain things. They look nice. What else have you got? You've got some cookies. Some cookies. There we go. Some Skittles apparently. You've got lentil chips. You guys are well looking after. What have you got there? We've got sherbet lemons. Blimey, we've got Reese's Pieces. You've got the whole lot here. Right, I know where I'm coming back a little bit later on when the game gets underway. Right, now guys, are you aware of the Emirates First Ball Flyer? Have you heard about this? This is our new competition. No, not ringing any bells? Right, okay. Very important. When Lancashire are bowling a little bit later on, if the first Lancashire bowler gets a wicket with the first ball, somebody could be winning tickets to Dubai, courtesy of Emirates. Okay, you take that?
That works for me.
Fancy a little holiday in Dubai, would that do you?
Do me.
What about you, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah.
You're right, okay. So yeah, it's only 2 tickets. So one of you's gonna, I mean, there's 3 of you here. Maybe toss a coin.
It's all right, it's just my husband. I'll leave him behind.
Do you know what? The number of people where I've spoken to couples who have said, oh, I'm not taking him with me. No. Anyway, so as I say, keep your eyes on the big screen. If we get a wicket on the first ball of the first Lancashire bowler, somebody will be picked out on the big screen. So wave like mad, go crazy, let everybody know you want to be going to Dubai, right? Okay? Yeah. Right, okay, brilliant stuff. So, a win for today, yeah, for Lancashire?
Absolutely, definitely.
Damn good.
Absolutely, there we go. Right, wherever you are in the world, wherever you're watching, get in touch with us, get a message in on the socials, let us know how you're enjoying the game, what you're doing, how you're watching it, and then more importantly, what you think is going to happen here this afternoon. We've got it all coming up very, very shortly.
So the first of this latest T20 doubleheader live from Emirates Old Trafford, the pride flag fluttering proudly in the breeze above the pavilion on the Sir James Anderson side of the ground. We're about 10 minutes away from the start of play. 2 sides who will fancy progressing pretty deep into this competition. 2 of the stronger sides in the division. In fact, Lancashire Thunder today and then here again on Saturday, probably facing 2 of their real challengers for a top 4 finish in the Blast, because Hampshire and Surrey, who they play on Saturday, 2 very strong sides. So a good test for Lancashire Thunder, and likewise for Hampshire women as well. Just a little look at the tables. It is pretty early on, isn't it? But it's worth a little look. Just a couple of games into this competition where Lancashire Thunder have played 2. They've won 1 and they've lost 1. And Hampshire Hawks women just 1 game in to their group campaign, but starting with a victory at this pretty early stage. Nice afternoon if you're on the hotel balcony with a little bit of a beer and something to eat and drink, and watch 2 games of T20 cricket, and the weather forecast is pretty dry for the afternoon as well. Kevin James from BBC Radio Solent is alongside me for commentary. We're going to hear, as we have been already on the build-up, from Paul Short, and we'll be hearing from Kevin Howells as well. We're on the big screen, Kevin. Give everybody a wave on the big screen. There we go. There we go. Happy days. Happy days. Sports Extra 3 listeners will be joining us shortly, and we're on the BBC Sport website and app. Kevin, hello.
Yeah, hi. Always nice to be here. Sorry, that was a bit over the top, wasn't it, for a reaction?
I thought it was great.
Yeah, well, I'm not used to all that. So I'm plain and simple man. Listen, for me, these are arguably the two top teams in women's cricket, domestic cricket right now. You could probably add Surrey into that mix, but if you look statistically so far what's happened this season, of course, congratulations to Lancashire. Belated congratulations for winning the Women's County Cup in that finals day at Taunton a couple of weeks ago. But these two teams sit 1 and 2 in the 50-over tournament, which has just taken a bit of a pause while we plough through these T20 Blast fixtures. So for me, the two best sides in the competition, they've already met in the 50-over Cup up at Southport earlier in the season. Exciting game, that one. Hampshire pipping Lancashire on that one. But for me, I'll be honest with you, I can't really call it today. I think what we are in for is a real cracking game.
Hopefully we had a really good game of T20 cricket here on Saturday when Lancashire Thunder were up against the Blaze, and it was a very impressive run chase by the Blaze, chasing down 170 to win. But it was a good game of cricket, and fingers crossed we'll see something similar. Just one game then so far for Hampshire Hawks. So, I mean, it's difficult to make a judgment of their T20 form after one game, isn't it? But in terms of the reflection of the season so far, as you touched on, it's been a very impressive start by Hampshire. Yeah,
it has, they're top in the 50-over competition. I mentioned Lancashire hot on their heels in second. But, we've only had one game at Hampshire. That was last Thursday. That was a T20 doubleheader down south at the Utilita. But they beat Essex, but it was the manner of the victory, I think, that actually should send one or two little shockwaves further north, because Hampshire totaled 215 for 3 batting first, and that currently is the highest ever women's T20 score at the Utilita Bowl outside of Southampton. And I'm talking any domestic cricket, with the Southern Vipers, of course, in the previous regional area, even talking international women's cricket. That currently now is the highest women's score, and at the time it was the 5th highest score overall on that ground, until the men a few hours later bittered that by about 15. So it dropped to the 6th. Now, yes, it's a relatively new ground, only started in 2001, but I think that will give you an idea of how they've started this competition.
Yeah, and like the opening pair got off to a pretty strong start in that game. They put on 160, didn't they, for the first wicket?
It was around about there, yeah.
Something in that bracket, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll run through both sides in a second or two. Mascots are just starting to gather on the outfield, just down below us, and in the next few seconds we're going to welcome our listeners on Sports Extra 3 as well for this. For this fixture here. One welcome to listeners across BBC Sounds on Sports Extra 3 for this T20 Vitality T20 Blast fixture between Lancashire Thunder and Hampshire Women. It's the first of a double header from Emirates Old Trafford, with Lancashire Lightning taking on Leicestershire Foxes in the evening game. But the focus for the next couple of hours is the women's fixture between two strong sides who will be expecting to push for the top 4 places, I would think, by the end of this group stage. Scott Reed and Kevin James. We'll hear from Paul Short and Kevin Howells through the course of the afternoon as well. But just looking down that Hampshire side and reflecting back on that game against Essex, that big opening partnership, and looks like a very strong batting lineup that Hampshire have got.
Yeah, well, it helps when you've got a certain Maya Boucher in the side. Yes, she had a horrible winter down under. She wasn't the only England player that failed to really show their full potential. She averaged only 6 in the whole of the Ashes series, which is not her by a long way. She come back really needing to sort of regroup and get a game back together, and she's certainly done that. I mean, she's been awesome this year in both the 50-over game and in the game we've just been talking about at Essex last week, in that record-breaking score of over 200. She scored 92 in that game, which actually is her second highest ever T20 total, only bettered by her one innings for Southern Vipers, and she was one behind that for England. So yeah, she's in very, very good form. Ella McCacken is as well. You would have seen up at Southport earlier in the season in the 50-over game, where she hit her maiden professional 100. So right at the top of the order, they're getting some good starts. And you've got Charlie Knott, the Australian, who is a super player, coming in at 3. Georgia Adams, we all know about. So yeah, it's a very strong top order.
We'll run through those full sides for you in a second or two. The players not too far away from heading out to the middle. The umpires are just at the edge of the boundary rope as well. So we're not too far away from the start to play, 2 or 3 minutes. And it's hand for viewers on Lancs TV to Fraser Dayton.
Ladies and gents, please welcome to the pitch, with a guard of honour from Lostock Hall Academy in Preston, our umpires for this afternoon, Steve O'Shaughnessy and Jasmine Naim. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome today's visitors, the Hampshire Hawks women. Emirates Old Trafford, are you ready? Please welcome to the pitch the opening batters for Lancashire Thunder.
Tilly Kestevan and Katie Mack, the 2 opening batters for Lancashire Thunder, heading out to the middle.
Kestevan hasn't got a number.
No, she hasn't. She didn't have a number here in the game on Saturday against the Blaze, nor on Sunday when we went up to Durham for the T20 doubleheader neither. Name but numberless. She's only relatively new into the squad.
Right.
So I can't, but yeah, quite got the number on the name on the back of the shirt just yet. She's had a pretty impressive start to her Lancashire career. She got into the team on the back end of that T20 Women's County Cup campaign and played beautifully in the final, got runs in the final. And for the first couple of fixtures in this competition, she's batted very nicely. Looks a really classy player. Left-hander, tall left-hander, and plays some beautiful shots. She looks a fine player. And she's opening the batting with Katie Mack, who is here for the final time, the Australian.
She's had a good season for you, hasn't she?
She's had a good season, yeah. Second season for Katie Mack. She was here last year and was a really popular player for Lancashire Thunder, so they brought her back for this year, and she's been playing in the last couple of months for Lancashire Thunder. It will be Kestevan who will take the first ball. There'll be a slip in place. So here we go, first T20 game of another doubleheader live from Emirates Old Trafford. The conditions are lovely, bit of blue sky. It's quite breezy, but it's nice and dry. Sun shining. Forecast is clear for the rest of the day. So fingers crossed we're in for a decent couple of hours of cricket. Will be Daisy Gibb to get things underway from the Brian Statham end. Right arm around the wicket, a wide ball which Kestevan has a go at, trying to cut the ball away, but bobbles through towards the keeper. And there's no runs. We are up and running. Thunder against the Hawks in this blast fixture early on in the women's group campaign, but sides having played a lot of cricket already this year, which it's got to only be a really good thing for player development. And that's a play and a miss from Kestevan, and through it goes to the keeper Southby, and there's no run.
Yeah, so only a teenager, Daisy Gibb, getting her first games in the full Hampshire side this season. Has played a couple of the one-dayers. Played at Southport, you'll have seen. And she's played against Essex last week in the T20.
Yeah, it was a good game at Southport, wasn't it, in the one-day cup? A couple of months back. Actually, it felt like a couple of months back. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's about a month ago. This gives in to Kestevan. That's pushed away up towards mid-off. And there's no run. Freya Davis fielding inside the circle at mid-off for Hampshire.
It was very hot.
It was lovely, wasn't it?
It was amazingly hot for April, wasn't it? April.
It was in the middle of that balmy start to the season, wasn't it?
Incredible. and lots of runs.
Every time you come to Southport, it's lovely and warm.
I know. It sort of flies in the face of. I know where you're leading. It flies in the face of everything that I think when I sort of go north of the Watford Gap.
Here's Gibb around the wicket to Kesteven. Looks to drive. Check drive, the ball bouncing out towards short extra cover, and there's no run. 0 for 0. Yeah, we're commentating outside, weren't we, at Southport, in front of the tennis pavilion. And a good game of cricket, that, in the One Day Cup.
292 for 6, Lancashire. Eve Jones, 107. She's injured at the moment.
She is, yeah. Maybe another couple of weeks before we see Eve Jones back. So which has presented the chance for Tilly Kesteven, who's on strike here with the injury to Jones. Gibb comes around the wicket and bowls. A little bit of width there, carved away through the offside by Kesteven, running out towards the cover boundary. Will it reach the rope? No, it doesn't. It's just flipped back in the nick of time. They'll think of 3. Yeah, they do come back for 3. By the time Norgrove flicks it back and then the throw comes in. And the first run's on the board for Lancashire Thunder off the bat of Tilly Kesteven. With 1 delivery to go of the first over. 3 without loss. Lancashire Thunder.
Yeah, she looks strong, doesn't she? Only 20 years of age, Kesteven. She looks as though she can hit a mean ball. 77 against Surrey in those semi-finals win at Taunton on finals day.
That's it, yeah. That was a real standout performance, and then she's kept her place in the side for the previous couple of T20 games. She's come through the Cheshire system. I think she was playing for Cumbria. But having kind of come through the Cheshire system. As Gibbs in and bowls to Mack, facing her first delivery. And that's worked out towards the leg side, and there is no run. End of the over. 3 without loss, 1 over gone. Lancashire Thunder batting first. Hampshire Hawks won the toss, but Lancashire Thunder in to bat. And Kesteven has all 3 of the runs so far.
Yeah, if you're watching the live picture feed, just saw a close-up there of Charlie Knott, the Australian. Missed the last game through visa issues. Yeah, she apparently took a few days holiday.
Right.
And apparently a visa issue came up, and she wasn't allowed to play against Essex last week. Apparently, if the game had started after 8 o'clock last Thursday, she would have been all right.
Really?
Yeah. But as the game started in the afternoon, she wasn't allowed to play. So she's back in the Hampshire shirt. Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
Goodness, right.
All these little things, you know. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of what happened, but yeah, obviously something wasn't quite right. Wasn't right. It's going to be Freya Davis from the James Anderson Pavilion end, far end as we look. Bowling to Kesteven. Right arm over, Freya Davis bowls. Kesteven plays and misses outside of the off stump. I was just having a look at Kesteven. This is the first time I've seen her play, obviously. And she has a very wide stance on the crease.
It's been a really impressive start to her career. From the bits and pieces I've seen, she plays straight really well.
Yeah. She
plays the ball quite late. She's got lovely timing. I think she's made a very classy start to a fledgling career.
Comes in, does Freya Davis. Comes back at Kesteven. They're going to run up to mid-on. Could be a trouble here. Maybe not. Throw going into the wrong end. Throws going into mid-on from Daisy Gibb. Sorry, to the keeper, Rhianna Southby. Just watch that again. It's picked up. Gibb throws the far end, which may be slightly unwise. Anyway, comfortable single in the end.
Yeah, it was. Not batted too many times, these two, so far, but great contrast, isn't it, with Mack, who's such an experienced player, and Kesteven, who's just starting out.
So 11 years difference between the two as Davis comes in, length ball. Matt can do no more than just play it back to the bowler. Score remains on 4 without loss.
Thunder coming into this game on the back of a win and a loss. So they lost here against the Blaze on Saturday in what was a very, very good game of cricket, and credit to Blaze. They chased down 170 to win with 7 wickets remaining. But it was a good game, and Thunder played their part in it. And then going up to Durham the day after, last Sunday, that was a good win for Thunder up in the northeast.
Davis in again. Mack tries to drive, misses, and the underarm throw comes in from Rhianna Southby. Mack almost, the momentum with that shot took her well forward. Rhianna Southby reacting to that behind the stumps. The underarm throw actually hit the woodwork.
Yeah, it was a good spot, wasn't it, by Rihanna Southby, that Mac was batting out of a crease of fraction and then walking forward, so just trying to run her out, but she'd managed to get back.
She connected with that one. That was going a few miles. Katie Mack clearly wanted to leave on a high note here. As Davies is in again from the pavilion end. Mack works that to mid-wicket. Straight to Maya Boucher, who has a throw. Sorry, it's Charlie Knott, has a throw at the bowler's end now. Throws coming in from all angles.
Yeah, Mack departing shortly, but Lancashire Thunder will have Alana King arriving in the not too distant future.
Yeah, who? I suppose everybody's excited about that, aren't they?
Yeah, can't wait for that.
Terror of England during the winter. There she goes. Oh, she's bowled. She went for the sweep shot, or she went for the little lap over the leg side, and the off stump has been completely knocked out of the ground. Freya Davies has picked up Hampshire's first wicket, and not quite the send-off for Katie Mack that she might have hoped for with the bat. She goes for no score, 4 for 1.
Yeah, stepping right across the stumps there, wasn't she, Mack? And just angled in towards leg stump by Davies. Just a little shuffle across, looking to actually the off stump that's gone out. She's gone so far across, the off stump has been knocked out of the ground. But going across the stump, just trying to scoop it over the shoulder. And, got it wrong. And to her horror, it's Hampshire's delight. Ball rattled into the stumps. Early breakthrough for the Hampshire Hawks.
Yeah, you can see what she's trying to do. Maybe the ball was just a little bit further pitched up than she probably anticipated, not really giving her much time to react from the bounce. A bit, the idea was right, with fine leg up. Just unfortunately the execution on that occasion, not quite what Katie Mack would have liked.
Seren Smale is the new batter in the middle. Tilly Kesteven, however, is on strike. Over number 2 this. It's Gibb from around the wicket and bowling, turned into the onside by Kesteven. Fielded by Boucher at mid-wicket, and there is no run. The team news, if you missed it earlier on, there's no Sophie Eccleston. So she has a quad injury, pulled out by the kind of ECB as a precaution. So Sophie Eccleston not featuring with an injury. So Darcy Carter comes in to replace Sophie Eccleston. It's the one change for Thunder. As Gibbs in, bowls again, driven away by Kesteven towards mid-off. And there is no run. So Thunder go in with Katie Mack and Tilly Kesteven, Seren Smale, Fee Morris, Ellie Threlkeld, Ailsa Lister, Tara Norris, Grace Potts, Sophie Morris, Grace Johnson and Darcy Carter for this fixture today. 4 for 1, we're in the third. Kesteven's on strike, and it's Gibb with a slip in place from the Brian Statham end. There's a deep third and a fine leg. Here's Gibb, right arm round the wicket into the left-hander. Does she clear? Point just about. Not where she was aiming for. The ball squirts off a thickish edge over cover point. And Kesteven actually hurries back for 2. Moves on to 6, as indeed to Thunder, 6 for 1.
Yeah, sliced off the outside half of the bat, just out of the grasp. I think that was Abby Norgrove there, backward a point. But Gibbs just getting the ball to shape a fraction. Just quite late, just enough shape, straightening the ball. Kesteven not getting it out of the middle of the bat.
6 for 1. Nice Gibb. Back into Kesteven, driven away. Well guarded, the offside field. Run out chance here. She's a mile out if she hits. Seren Smale running towards the striker's end. Pick up and throw inside the circle by Charlie Knott. And, well, it's a slightly frantic single. 7 for 1, but she's a long way out. It's a great stop. And then Knott quickly throwing down at the stumps towards the striker's end. Seren Smale is not even in the frame.
Wow. Well, they're running on the shot. I mean, that's a great pickup, isn't it? Without actually the ball bouncing out of the hand. I think that's what surprised everybody, maybe even the fielder as well, that it's actually stuck in the hand. But they're running on the shot.
7 for 1. 2 balls left to the third over. Smale on strike. Gibb in and bowls, and defended calmly away into the offside. And there is no run. Yeah, 7 for 1. Lively start.
Smale's had a good season so far. One Day Cup, top run scorer for the Thunder, 135 runs.
Yeah,
sorry, the County Cup. Sorry, not the One Day Cup. The in the County Cup.
She's had
It's got the most for Lancashire.
pretty steady upward curve since her debut. That's a real standout one-day competition last year for Thunder. She's on strike as Gibb comes in and bowls. Played late. He's trying to run it down towards third. And there's no run. It's the end of the over. So we've had 3 of the Lancashire Thunder innings. 7 for 1, Kesterman 7, Smale on 0. Live here on Lancs TV via the BBC Sport website and app. 5 on the Sports Extra 3 as well via BBC Sounds. Plenty of way to follow the cricket through the course of the next few hours.
Yeah, that County Cup victory. That's a seriously good win, isn't it? In terms of lifting the trophy for Lancashire. Had a good finals day, and probably two very good sides that they played in that. Beat the Blaze in the semi-finals, beat Surrey in the final. Yeah. That's a good day, isn't it? That's well worthy of winning the trophy.
It's a significant trophy because it's the first, I think.
Yeah. Freya Davies in for a second over. Kesteven gets one. It just bounces and comes back into a fraction.
But what I mean by that, they got to finals day a few years ago in the Charlotte Edwards Cup, and they lost that. They got to finals day and lost that finals day, but played well and did really well to get there. But I think just another sign of the kind of progression of the club, of the team, really. And I think these players look like players now that are 2 or 3 years on from kind of where they were, and with recruitment and with some overseas, it looked like a strong side.
Davies in. Kesteven's off the back foot. Works that out to extra cover. Picked up by Charlie Knott, although not cleanly on that occasion.
It's a process, isn't it? I mean, Lancashire as a club for a number of years have put a lot of investment and commitment into the women's game. We're effectively a professional outfit before it was professional across all the 18 counties, the 8 counties rather, and in Tier 1. And I think that kind of investment and that commitment, you almost instantly thinking, well, win games.
Davies in, wide, driven into the ground, not timed by Kesteven.
And that just takes time to happen, doesn't it? It takes time for players to develop, younger players to get better. It takes time to get your kind of recruitment right, and to bring in the players that you need, and to be able to establish and identify some good overseas. But I think and it's very early on, but the fact that they've won the trophy, they've had a good start in the One Day Cup, they've had an encouraging start in the Blast, on the back of last summer as well, it feels like they're kind of where they wanted to be probably 3 or 4 years ago, but it just takes time.
It does. Davies bowls. Kesteven works that up towards mid-on. No run there. Fielded by Daisy Gibb. It does. It's not an overnight thing, that's for sure. But, yeah, I think what I've seen of Lancashire, and I've seen, like you, I've seen quite a lot of Lancashire over the years when they played against the Southern Vipers, and you always felt there was just a couple of things maybe missing a little bit. They had some good players, but they had the potential, to just be just that little bit better. Maybe now that's starting to come to the fore. Here's Davies again. That's driven by Kesteven up to mid-off. They'll run through for a single as Captain Georgia Adams is quite deep on the 25-yard circle. 8 for 1. But they were always coming up against a very good Southern Vipers side, in the old regional era.
Yep.
It would generally, although maybe the Vipers started to tail off a little bit maybe in the last year or so of the regional competition, because with so many England call-ups, it was always difficult to, maintain, a level, and they were then sort of, getting some youngsters ready, for the next few years. But if you got the Vipers on a day when they had most of their England players, there weren't very many teams that were going to stop them, really. In question what you've just talked about, that's nicely whipped away down through fine leg. That'll be 4 off the bat of Seren Smale. Just erred in length there a little bit, Freya Davies, just a little too straight, and the total moves on to 12 for 1. Yeah, that finals day I think was at Worcester a couple of years ago you were talking about, and they were up against Danny White and Maya Boucher at the best in I think it was the semi-final, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they were always struggling. But then, as I say, Lancashire on the only side. But it's interesting now with Hampshire, because obviously, they've morphed from Southern Vipers into Hampshire, but lost some players in the process. So they're very much in a real rebuilding phase. Your youngsters like your Abby Norgroves, your Mary Taylors, Daisy Gibb we're seeing here, Rebecca Tyson, you know, all sort of newish sort of names that certainly wouldn't have been around, you know, a couple of years ago when Vipers were at their best. They've exceeded expectations this year. Right. You know, top of the 50 over tournament wasn't in their plans.
Here is Daisy Gibb, over number 3, onto the pads of Kesteven, and clipped down towards fine leg for a single, 13 for 1. So has that, I mean, that Vipers side for so long was so good, and as you say, almost untouchable. Has that just been a natural kind of way that it's evolved to a different team? I mean, how has it kind of got to the point where maybe Hampshire women are not as strong as the Vipers were? Is it just...
Well, they didn't really replace the players, you know, that left. You know, your Danny White-Hodges to Surrey, your Charlie Deans to Somerset, Alice Monaghan to Surrey as well.
As Gibb comes in, bowls to Smale. Bit of width there, carved away, gets through the infield. Charlie Knott inside the circle trying to cut it off. It was hit firmly by Smale. And that brings Thunder a welcome boundary. Moves to 17 for 1 in the 5th over. Smale moves to 4. It's the first scoring shot, that. With 17 for 1 in the 5th.
And Emily Windsor's, you know, to Durham. You know, a lot of big players over the years for the Southern Vipers that brought them a lot of success. They haven't really replaced them.
Okay.
You know, Charlie Knott was at the Vipers last year, so she's not new. So they're just bringing on some youngsters now for the next level. And, you know, really, pre-season they were just talking about, look, let's just hold our own. But, you know, here they are with a record-breaking performance last week and top of the 50 over.
Smale off the back foot this time, can't find a way through the infield on the offside. Georgia Adams fields inside the circle, no run.
And no Charlotte Edwards now, of course, as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah. 17 for 1.
But that top order batting, as we say, is very, very strong indeed. If Lancashire are, you know, I'm sure they've talked about that in the dressing room prior to this game, that you know, the top order of Hampshire is, you know, they need to get past that very quickly.
Here's Gibb into Smale. Play and a miss by Smale, taken by a wicket keeper. There's no run. You mentioned Charlotte Edwards. England are in action today. England against the West Indies in this second one-day international. There's a pretty powerful start by Tammy Beaumont and by Amy Jones. They've put on 178 so far for the first wicket. 178 without loss in the 27th against India. Where is that taking place? Leicester. County ground in Leicester. 5th over here. Here's Gibb in over the wicket. Balls again cut away by Smale. Hampshire have just relocated Charlie Knott towards that sweeper boundary. So a single for Smale, moves on to 9, and the score moves on to 18 for 1 with 1 ball left of the 5th over.
So talking about Lancashire, I mean, you've got 1 or 2 recognisable names not around at the moment. Obviously, we talked about Eve Jones, who's got the injury. Phoebe Graham, who, I mean, has been a stalwart for the last few years. I mean, I don't see her name around too much at the moment.
No, she was in the squad. I just saw a picture of her, actually. She was down amongst the bench, but just not being selected at the minute. Let's give balls off the pads by Kesteven, just turned out towards square leg for no run. It's the end of the over. 5 gone. There's Phoebe on the live picture stream. 18 for 1, 5 overs gone. Smale on 9, Kesteven on 9. I shall leave you, Kevin, with Paul Shaw, who was a part of that building process that Lancashire Thunder had over the course of the last 3 or 4 seasons.
So Hampshire winning the toss, electing to bowl first. Sunshine out here at Old Trafford. First game of a double header here. Later on, the Lancashire men are taking on the Leicestershire Foxes. Sam Smale has 9 from 7, Kesteven 9 from 18. And it looks like we're going to get our first bowling change. It's going to be the left arm spin of Rebecca Tyson. Paul Shaw, welcome.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm very, very well. Now, you probably know this, and I was thinking this before I knew we were going to do commentary together. We actually played a game against each other.
Did we?
Years ago. So obviously something I know that you don't. That's driven out towards extra cover by Sarah Smale, because you used to play for Staffordshire.
No, that's a wrong Paul Shaw.
Oh, is that a different Paul Shaw?
Different Paul Shaw. That's the left-handed bat. He's slightly older than I am.
I thought you were the same.
No.
Oh, my word. Tyson bowls, that's driven to mid-wicket. Right, I'll forget all that. Just rewind a couple of minutes. And we'll cut that bit out of the highlights. Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's a different Paul Shaw.
It is, yeah.
Apologies.
Yeah, it's not quite correct on the internet, actually, if you research me or
I should have done
Google.
a bit better than that, shouldn't I?
But it brings us into the atmosphere, into the afternoon nicely.
Well, that's a good start, wasn't it? As that's turned away on the 45, Gibb Fields, there is no run. But former head coach, of course, of Thunder anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was just saying earlier about, I always felt maybe you guys were a good side, in the games that I played. But you were building it up, weren't you, in your time? Smale drives, lovely shot out into the gap, into deep cover, and 19 for 1.
Yeah, that's right. And it does take time. I was listening to your conversation with Scott Reed a little earlier on, and it's a little bit like building a house. The foundations take a little bit of time, and then you work onto that ground floor and then the upper floor, and you're gradually building the house, and eventually you think about putting that roof on, which I think they will be doing here in over the next couple of years, but just does take time building the fundamentals of the game.
Yeah. I guess, and I've never been a head coach, so I wouldn't know, as Kestevan drives that back towards extra cover, that you want it to happen a bit quicker than it's happening.
Absolutely. As a head coach, you are fairly impatient. It will take time, and
as Tyson's over the wicket, Kestevan drives. He gets part of a hand on it. It's driven up to mid-off. They'll come through for a single. Kestevan moves on to Ted, 20 for 1.
Yeah, it's going to take time, and of course experience, tells you. Been a head coach a number of times, including with England and England Women's Academy, and you look back over that period of time, and it just take time to build it, from bottom up, because actually you're not just building to get results today, you're wanting to do it over the next 5 years. So the other thing you're doing is trying to build a pathway that's self-sustaining and produces players for the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So you're also focusing on the whole of that pathway and making sure you've got good staff in place across that entire pathway.
Yeah. What did you find it enjoyable on the whole? Because I guess some head coaches almost take it home with them, don't they? And probably think about it when you sleep. Did you? What sort of head coach were you on that front?
Yeah, you've got to take the ups and the downs and respectfully deal with both. But yeah, no, I was pretty good. I enjoyed the role, definitely.
Yeah. Mary Taylor is on from our commentary end with a right-arm medium paces. Kestevan works that on the up towards mid-off where Freya Davies fields, and there is no run. Because I know you had Craig White helping you, didn't you, for a while?
Yes, that's right. The Craig White, the former Yorkshire and England all-rounder, of course, spent some time down at Hampshire.
Yes, he did, yeah. Oh, yes. Taylor bowls, and that's worked away full on leg stump down towards deep square leg to Tani Fields, who's into the side for the first time this season.
He was a fantastic coach, fantastic almost mentor. He was assistant coach and looked after the bowlers, but he was far more than that. An outstanding individual, really good coach, really good man. And Stephen Parry as well.
Yes, of course.
Left arm spinner here. Did a great job too.
Taylor's into Smale. Smale drives, goes up towards mid-on. Freya Davies is there once more.
And of course, Craig White's the bowling coach with the Lancashire men's team now.
Right,
so
yes.
He's moved into that role and doing a really good job there with the guys.
How did you find leaving players out? Because that's always a subject that a lot of coaches say they find it the hardest. Smale works that on mid-on. This time she's going to take Freya Davies on. Davies throws, misses the stumps. Total moves on to 22 for 1 in the 7th.
Yeah, it's a good question. Look, I don't think it's ever easy, but I think it's really important to respectfully deliver news, be honest, package it appropriately for the individual you're working with, but be really clear on the reasons of being left out, what we can do to help them get back in the side and how we can move them forward, I think is important.
Taylor into Kestevan on the line of leg stump, wraps Kestevan on the pad, no run.
Yeah, so it's never an easy job, but it's something you get used to. Probably more challenging when I was at England, when you're not selecting people for tours and Ashes and World Cups.
Really, that was harder. Yeah.
Releasing players from contracts, that's pretty tough. But I think you do it with compassion and, appropriately and respectfully.
Sure. Taylor comes in again. That's way down the leg stump, and Rihanna Southby does well getting half a glove on that. That'll be a wide. They've run a wide as well. Umpire signalling to the scorers just to our left, and it'll be Smale to face the next delivery. 24 for 1 coming towards the end of the 7th, and that pressure was more, I guess, because it was England and it was international. And I guess you're talking more of players' careers and futures than even at domestic level.
Absolutely. So it was a challenge from that perspective for sure.
Yeah. Taylor comes in, Smale drives, and she's beaten both the bowler and mid-off. That's going for 4. That's nicely timed by Seren Smale. She really does give the ball a whack there, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Full arc of the bat.
She does. She really puts her weight into that shot and forces that ball down the ground for 4 runs. She'd be happy with that. She's not got off to the most fluent of starts. Neither of these batters have, compared to what they have done in the last couple of games. But that said, looks a slightly more trickier pitch to actually get the timing right, doesn't it? There might just be a little bit of movement. I know Freya Davis, there was a little glimpse of maybe a slight little bit of swing earlier on as well, wasn't there? Yeah. So it may not be the easiest to bat on at this point in time, but Thunder off 7 overs are 28 for 1.
I mean, I know you were down there pitch side, weren't you, doing the pre-match build-up and what have you, so you got a sort of quite close look at the pitch. There's a bit of moisture there, is there maybe? There's Georgia Adams, the captain, coming on with her off-spin, and Kestevan times that nicely off the back through the extra cover region. Chase for Titani, picks it up a couple of yards inside the rope. They'll run 2. Total moves on to 30 for 1.
Yeah, very nice shot that, wasn't it? Yes, there's a little bit more grass. I was here on Saturday to cover the game then against the Blaze, which was a highly entertaining game. And we played on this pitch here, and there's a bit less grass, a little bit more grass, a little bit more moisture. It is firm.
That's driven off the bottom hand, goes into the stumps at the bowler's end, otherwise there was runs.
So the seam might just be holding up slightly on the pitch, or maybe gripping the pitch, but generally speaking it's a good pitch. It just sometimes takes a little bit getting used to the timing for both these two batters, but they'll be looking to build a partnership now and move this game on, I would have thought.
Kestevan, the left-hander, then is working that up to mid-on, found the gap. That'll be a single, 31 for 1. Kestevan's 14 from 26 now. Smale is 15 from 14, the 1 wicket that's fallen. Katie Mack in the 2nd over, bowled by Freya Davis. Katie Mack trying to lap that over her left shoulder as she walked across the stumps, and an off-stump came straight out of the ground. And she was bowled for no score. Katie Mack's final game for Lancashire Thunder. That's worked back to the bowler by Smale. I presume she's going back to Australia.
Yes, I understand. So, yeah. Just looking at Georgia Adams, she's been such a good player, hasn't she, for Hampshire, and before that the Vipers. Good captain, good all-rounder.
Yeah, she's been a staple, hasn't she, really, behind the Vipers' success. That's driven up to mid-on by Smale, 32 for 1. You know, if you have, I mean, you had it, and you've got it at Lancashire with Ellie Threlcold, haven't you? I mean, you know, real sort of stalwarts of the game. They know the game. You know, they've worked it out, don't they? They know how, you know, not just for themselves, but for the team around them, and that's so important. That's a bit of bottom hand there by Kestevan as it goes out towards mid-wicket. That must have been a source of, you know, that must have been made your job a bit easier.
Yeah, because you're looking to develop the players, but also you're looking to develop the leadership within the team, and someone like Ellie Threlcold, wonderful person, good player, very good wicket keeper. She's good behaviours, good professional behaviours, good character to have, and she's grown and developed into the role as captain, done a great job. And of course with England, the current England coach, Charlotte Edwards. So when I was coach, she was captain, so that it's really important to have that key figure that's really good tactically, but also really good in terms of generating good behaviours and values within the culture of the team.
Yeah. If you've got that sort of core, you know, when you think a lot of sides, you know, they're having to change the captain for whatever reason, and, you know, that's not helping, is it, in the overall, because you want a constant, don't you? As Rebecca Tyson's changed ends, and a lovely reverse sweep there from Seren Smale, and that's running towards the 3rd boundary at the far end of the ground as we look, and Smale moves on to 20, and Lancashire move on to 36 for 1 in the night.
Yeah, really well played this by Smale. She picks the length early, premeditated shot. Just plays the nice little reverse behind square on the offside for a well-timed 4 runs, but I should say really well executed reverse sweep there from Smale. She moves on to 20 off 17.
Rebecca Tyson with her left-arm spinners. Started with the Vipers towards the end of last year. Awarded a contract by Hampshire as that's driven. Oh, it was a nice little kick off the end of the old wicket there, but well taken by Abby Norgrove, who's just having a little smile there. Score remains on 36 for 1. Here's Tyson, bowls, flighted, full, and she's trying to reverse sweep. I think it's hit the stumps, it has. It's ricocheted off the pad. For me, that was a little too full. I think, Paul, you're nodding your head in agreement. Yeah. Smell goes for 20, 36 for 2.
Yes, looked a little full and perhaps a little too straight, this ball, but really well. Good credit to the bowler that's got the angle right with that, coming around the wicket, just angling the ball in. And Smale looks to reverse that ball again and chase the success she had just a couple of balls ago. We just have a little look on the replay. It's the angle in. It's a little bit too straight. It's the back leg and then ricochets onto the stumps. The angle of the left-arm swimmer onto leg stump and hits the back leg pad and just runs onto off stump.
Yeah.
She'll feel unfortunate, but the line's not quite right there, you can see.
I think without the deflection, that's missing leg stump actually, isn't it? So she's a little bit unlucky, but yeah, maybe the length just picked the wrong length. But it's a bit of a premeditated shot, which I think. I mean, I don't know about you. I never played many of those when I was younger, so I couldn't really tell you. But I think a lot of the time you're picking the shot before it's actually, you know, even left the hand for some players.
Absolutely, and there's no doubt about that. That one's premeditated, and it brings someone else to the crease. Fee Morris has been pretty successful this season when she's come into bat, coming in at 3. She does prefer the T20 format of the game, and is pretty creative. Looks to score all around the ground, and of course this brings together again the left-hand, right-hand partnership.
Certainly does. Yeah, Fee Morris, we know her quite well on the south coast. She actually did play for Hampshire women in the T20 tournament between 2018 and 2021. That's a lovely shot timed behind point, but it's gone straight to Mary Taylor. She also had a season with the Vipers. Yeah. Well, she had several seasons of the Vipers in the old Kia Super League. So we know her pretty well. Down outside Southampton. Morris drives pleasantly. Oh, it's misfielded by Tyson. Allows Morris to get off the strike. 37 for 2. She, of course, is very handy as well because she gives you the off-spinning option as well, doesn't she?
And, of course, very good in the field as well, isn't she? Very athletic and chases the ball around. Good arm and a safe pair of hands. So you do get, when she's on form, you do get that three-dimensional player.
Yeah. Tyson switches to over the wicket to Guesteven, who goes aerial, nicely timed down the ground, but Maya Boucher comes round from a fairly straight, deep mid-off position, throws it back, keeps the runs tally down to a single. 38 for 2 at the end of the 9th over. Guesteven is 15 from 28. She looks like a player to me, Paul, that if you were allowed to get away allow her to get away from you a little bit. She looks quite strong, quite powerful, left-hander.
Yeah, she certainly is, and with that stature, she's got a long reach as well, so likes to hit down the ground. One of the things I've noticed around the Hampshire Hawks bowling is they've just held their length back a little bit, so there's not been too many balls to hit really down the ground. So I think they've bowled more probably a knee roll length to her, which I think is a really good strategy. They've clearly been doing the analysis on her and done a great job. But she's a good young prospect, a product of the Lancashire Thunder Academy, like many of the Hampshire Hawks.
Yeah.
Players are you know, graduates of the academy down there, aren't they? And the coaching staff are doing a wonderful job down there as you manage this transition.
That's right. Yeah. A lot of them weren't going to get much of a game, but with the changes now, that's an edge from Guesteven. It's going down towards third. It may not quite go over the rope. Mary Taylor picks it up right below us, and I think they've picked up a couple there. Guesteven moves on to 17. They have 40 for 2 at the start of the 10th over.
Yeah, thick outside edge there.
Charlie Knott is into the attack, just short of a length, as you were saying, Paul. Very much in evidence again there from Charlie Knott as that's played out towards extra cover. Daisy Gibb, the fielder there.
Yeah, the ball really well at Guesteven at this point.
They have. Round the wicket. That's more leg stump. Flicked away. One bounce out towards a deep backward square leg where Abby Norgrove fields. In front of the extended hotel here at Old Trafford, which is square of the wicket. Little walkway between the two buildings.
Certainly a ground that's developed over the years.
It's changed,
hasn't
isn't it? My word, yeah. Well, I remember, of course, when the wicket was
the other way around.
The other way around, yeah. The old Stretford end and Warwick Road end. Now it's the James Anderson Pavilion end and the Brian Statham end. Brian Statham end being the end that we're at. Fee Morris to face the next delivery. There's Charlie Knott, who always bowls in a cap no matter what the weather. That's worked up by Morris up towards mid-on, and there's no run.
And as you mentioned, as this square was the other way around.
Yeah.
And there was two people I've seen this morning. Craig White, you've just mentioned, that would have been playing here for either Yorkshire or England.
Yes.
That way around. And Warren Hegg, the Lancashire legend.
Warren Hegg, yes.
Seen him, so he would remember quite clearly playing up most of his career.
Definitely.
That way.
With the pavilion square rather than behind one end. That's worked to mid-wicket by Kesteven, and there is no run. But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot going on, obviously, over the last decade and a half. Or whatever. I mean, the ground looked a little tired, didn't it, about a couple of decades ago. So it's worked out to point. They'll take a single, as Tyson's quite deep. 43-4-2 at the end of the 10th. We're halfway through.
I think the chief exec here, Daniel Gidney, has done a fantastic job since he's come into the club and developed this ground and the finances and the infrastructure within the club. And of course, it's also a very good venue for concerts and pop concerts and rock concerts, and very good banqueting suites now and conferencing. So the vision of the club and the board and Daniel Gidney has enabled them to redevelop the ground the way it has, of course, with the hotels on site. It's really a multi-purpose venue. It's for sure a cricket venue, no doubt about that. It's steeped in history, but also other areas is being developed too.
First and foremost, of course, Georgia Adams into the attack once more. That's driven down to mid-on by Kesteven. Are they going to take the throw on? No. Charlie Knott finds herself down at deep mid-on, and we're into the start of the 11th over. 44-2, and Georgia Adams has bowled 7 balls now. She has none for 5. Brings Fee Morris back on strike as the sunshine comes out a little stronger. As Adams runs away from us and bowls, that's full. It's driven by Morris down to deep mid-on, and Morris moves on 2-3. I just imagine that second part of that hotel, you have great views of the concerts. I mean, those rooms with the balcony, I mean, they must cost hundreds and hundreds for a concert. Wonderful view. Adams floats that one up. It's a full toss past the diving Boucher at extra cover. In fact, I don't think it's Boucher. I think it's Abby Norgrove, but he's beaten everybody. It's gone for 4. That really was well timed off the bat of Kesteven.
Yeah, it's a good shot. It's in the air, so the fielder had half a chance, but it's really well timed. And she does, as you're right to say, she does time the ball well, hits the ball hard. So should be delighted with those 4 runs as the score moves on to 49.
Only 20 years old. She drives and she misses. I think maybe inside edge onto the pad there. Georgia Adams got a little excited initially.
What you've also got is when the 100's on, of course, Manchester Originals play here, is that some wonderful views and experiences from the hotels, but the conferences and the traditional pavilion as well. It's a really good venue nowadays.
Yeah, uppish, but safe. One bounce down to deep mid-off. There's Maya Boucher. That deep mid-off. Usually likes to field deep and straight. You probably wouldn't be surprised to find her at the next over ball at the far end of the ground up by the pavilion. I'll check that out, but I wouldn't be surprised. I certainly wouldn't bet against it. 50-2, last ball of the 11th over coming up. It'll be Fee Morris, who's just waiting a little bit while Adams just tinkers with the field somewhat. 2 players behind point on the offside, saving a single. As Morris uses her feet, drives down the ground, brings Boucher into the game once more. And 11 overs are gone, and the score is 50-2, with Kesteven on 25 and Fee Morris on 4. There we are, in the box there. There's Paul to the left, smiling away. Good-looking one. And there's me in my top and another one underneath. I had to put on an extra top when I got out of the car.
It's cold, actually, isn't it? A bit chilly. A little bit chilly.
Yeah. You've got a very fetching jacket on there. matching T-shirt. Oh, I'm off before I say anything else. So Paul Shaw is going to stay on, and he's going to be joined by Kevin House.
Yeah, so 11 overs gone. Lancashire Thunder are 51 for 2. They were put into bat by Georgia Adams at the toss. The Hampshire Hawks captain won the toss and decided to field. And yeah, Lancashire Thunder are 2 down. They've not found the surface the easiest of surfaces just to get going today, but they're looking to build a partnership with a tall, graceful left-hander, Stephen, and the right-handed all-rounder, Fee Morris. Good afternoon, Kevin.
Good afternoon. Yes, a steady start, to say the least. I say a start. We're past the halfway mark, obviously, into the 12th over now, and that one's worked away onto the onside for a single. At 52 for 2. So, Fee Morris, who spent a long time trying to tell the person on the gate that her name was on the list to be allowed in. But that happens. That's okay. I don't mind it. It always takes me a long time. You would have thought that H is quite high up the alphabet, but it still takes a long time to find Howells. And I suppose Morris is even further on down. I'd like to think we were on different lists. And I think that might have been the problem, trying to find the right list. But anyway, she's in, and she's batting. Kestevan faces now and works away through mid-wicket this time for a single. There is a lot to like about Tilly Kestevan, isn't there? The fact that she looks the business out there. She just looks so comfortable, the way that she plays her shots. The height has something. I'm 5 foot nothing, so I've got, probably jealousy on my part. The same for you, Sean. Just remember. But there is also something that makes that look just a little bit more graceful as well, about, real style to the batting. And this one hard and fast, but won't get past the fielder there at mid-on. I thought she maybe got a little bit more of that, Morris, but stays on 5, not getting past the fielder out there. But yeah, there's something that looks, as I say, really stylish about the batting. And she's 26 off 38. She would love that to be a little bit more, but she's still there. But this is where I'm going to look to you now over this next over or two, just to say, you feel, as difficult as it seems to be, and therefore it's likely to be for both teams, maybe to score runs quickly or whatever, just what the plan needs to be here from this point on, with only 2 wickets down. A slower ball, which is driven beautifully. The placement is just terrific from Morris. Great shot to the boundary. That's 4 runs. Terrific for Lancashire. Terrific for Morris. She moves to 9. 9 not out, and up to 57 for 2. But the placement in between, it couldn't have been more perfect between those 2 fielders.
Yeah, that's a lovely shot. She's picked the length really early on, hasn't she? She's identified that length, and then she's just rocked into the ball, hit the ball under her eyes, and timed it beautifully. Almost like threading a needle. Beautiful shot.
Indeed so. So, here we go. This is Taylor again in the bowls. Worked it up to mid-on this time. Doesn't get the timing quite right, but a better ball maybe comes back across it. And therefore, sort of, she got just a little bit squeezed there. Yeah. Not too much room to work with.
Just tucked her up a little bit. And to answer your question, the key thing that these two will be thinking about now is building a partnership, hitting the gaps, running hard, turning 1s to 2s, and really looking to put the bad ball away, and then building this tempo. Because, they need to get to a reasonable score. Whether 130 would be a decent score, 150, I'm not sure. We know 169 didn't cut it the other day, so we'll see, but it's a more difficult pitch.
This is Taylor in. It is a more difficult pitch. You've been out there to have a look at it as well. Couldn't get hold of that one either. LBW appeal, which is only half-hearted, I think, to come from that final ball of the 12th over, 57 for 2. So is this pitch playing the way that you thought it would when you saw it?
It is. It is. You look surprised. There's a little bit more grass.
You know what you're talking about? No, that's why I asked you, you sausage. Go ahead.
A little bit more grass on it than the pitch we saw the other day. So it's a little bit greener, so the ball's just sticking slightly in the pitch and just deviated. It's difficult to time at this moment in time. Maybe when there's a wind blows and we get a little bit more through the day and it gets a bit more sun on it, it might come through a little bit better. But that little bit of grass means it's just holding up a little bit and doing a little bit.
Charlie Knott's going to bowl here now. Second over. The first over she bowled went for 5 runs from her spin. She's going to come around the wicket and bowling to Kestevan in bowls and played nicely just for a single up towards the boundary here. Up off the boundary, running in is Bouchier. Talking of stylish batters. There is so much to look forward to in anticipation of this match, and there are so many quality players in both these teams. And also for the fact that clearly, off the back of the County Cup and the knockout competition, Lancashire are in good form up against one of the solid performers in the competition in Hampshire. So much to look forward to today, and the game is underway, and we've enjoyed it. We haven't maybe seen as many runs as we thought maybe we would, but Paul's been explaining that. This could be a chance for a run out. It's going to be a single instead. Throw just needed to be a little firmer and faster to the non-striker's end, but they go through for one all the same, and 59 for 2 is the score.
Yeah, you've got two good teams here, and as you rightly say, Hampshire and prior to that, Vipers have been a very good side over a number of years.
Kesteven facing a full ball, which she has to wait a long time for, but that she eventually gets to it, and she drives that to a wide mid-on for a single.
And both teams have got a number of England players not available. There's a couple of injuries in each side, so each side's not quite as strong as they perhaps would like to be, but still highly competitive. And I think we'll have a really good game and a competitive game on our hands this afternoon. This is not to Morris looking to ramp that round the corner. They'll have to be really quick. Could be a run out. I think that is run out. It is. Kesteven has run out. She's run out for 28. Oh dear, oh dear. And that should have been Tilly's call. I don't know if it was, but it should have been, and she got it wrong. And it was clear to see from the outset that she was in big trouble there. Paul Short. Yeah, big trouble. She's out by a decent length here. She's not got her back down at this stage. So Bex Tyson with a throw. It's a disappointing dismissal that for the Lancashire Thunder side. Really good bit of fielding. Calm under pressure was Tyson. I think that's the clear thing to say there. But it's a blow as Kesteven is dismissed for 28 of 40 balls. Not what they wanted, but do you think that that was something to do with the concern over the number of runs on the board at this stage? I think, yeah, because I think they're just beginning to feel that little bit of pressure. And Kestevenson's call, as you rightly said, and she clearly thought she could go up there's long legs going and get into that crease a little bit quicker than she did. But also it was a really clean pick-up, wasn't it, by Tyson at 45 degrees. It was. I mean, sometimes, in fact, maybe you could argue too often on a run out, we are very quick to make such a big thing about why did you go for that, and it was all wrong, without sometimes giving the proper full credit to the fielder. Yeah, and I thought she did a great job, calm under pressure, did what she needed to do, did Tyson. Really good bit of fielding. It's the anticipation in the first place, picking the ball up cleanly, and a nice calm throw into the keeper. Add to that the context of the game. Lancashire would rather be another 30 runs ahead than they are at this point in time. Just builds that decision making and that pressure to make that decision. Ellie Threadkeld is the new batter and taking down the leg side. The captain, of course, of Lancashire. She'll know there's work to be done, and no doubt she will have gone out there with one or two words, not ringing in her ears, because Chris Reed isn't the sort to do that sort of shouty, but with a little bit of advice maybe as to what needs to be done. Even if she didn't know herself, she'll have her own ideas driven into the offside, straight to the fielder again for no run. And what we've seen so far this season is she's come into this position a number of times, consolidated and helped the team build a total. In and bowls. Mr. Wide, by the way, was leg side wide earlier. That's worked away very fine. I'm not too sure is this going to get the better of the fielder. That seems to have taken an age to get down to the boundary all along the ground. And indeed, they go through, they run 3 in the end. That really did. That needed a bit of a boot on it. So go in that ball. But 3 to finish off that over. And it's now 64 for 3. After 13 overs, but played it nicely. Yeah, absolutely. Deft work. You can see the impetus now is beginning to happen with the running between the wickets. That was really hard work 3 that they were pushing for. And earlier on in the game, they might have only got 2 there, but the push for 3. Ellie Threadkeld's off the mark and is up and running. And no doubt these two batters at the crease will be looking to build a partnership, but up the tempo. It's a bit like you think if 7 overs left. We've got to get a decent total here. They've got to turn that into around about 130 at the very least, I would think, Kevin, from this stage. Okay, so this is Taylor on the ball, the 3rd over, no wicket for 14. So was this Georgian Adams actually who's coming into ball? I think it is. Next ball, and it's driven. On the offside, it is. Sorry, just let me look at the scorecard. That should change shortly. But in the meantime,
Now the thing is, and I suppose again we come back to this run out, 64 for 3 in the 14th over, down the wicket, and again finds the fielder. A little bit of that's going on actually at the moment, but there are spaces. So you could say, right, well, if the timing's not there, it's not easy to find the boundaries. You do the pushing and running. Well, that's exactly probably what was in the mind of the two when they were run out. So
yeah,
it's a tricky one, isn't it?
It is. And
2 dot balls for Adams at the start of her over, which is the 3rd over. Come back to you in a moment, Paul, on that. This is in the air, and it's going to be caught, and this is the problem. It's starting to look just a little bit panicky out there right now for Lancashire. It's another wicket go down. Adams has struck with the 3rd ball of a 3rd over, and the catch is taken. Good work there, although it was a fairly easy catch, but took it well all the same on the offside. And yeah, it's got just a little bit of whoa, we're in trouble here, Lancashire, and they're losing wickets.
Yeah, you can see from the way that Ellie played there, she's concerned around the run rate and wanting to up the tempo, and didn't quite get to that ball properly, and just sliced it on the up to the cover fielder. It took a very, very nice catch actually.
Yeah, had to get behind it, took it well, right in front of her face. Fred Davis with the catch. Big smiles on her face. There's always, I don't mean this as any criticism, because they're human beings, all cricketers, but there's always just that little moment of, oh, it's coming towards me. And also that, I mean, it wasn't the easiest of heights. It was just, glooping down a little bit, and you've got to look after your face as well. Yeah. I mean, you and I, we wouldn't bother these days, but others might. Put a hand in front of the face just to take it in nicely. Just took it well. Okay. Elsa Lister is the new batter. 64 for 4 in the 14th over, and played away out through the leg side. Is that going to get the perfect placing in between the two fielders? No. Good piece of fielding. Good. Tatani eventually with the left arm throw. She almost goes a cropper. And that's good work initially out there, I think, from Charlie Knott on the boundary, pulling that one back in. Yeah. And they get 2, and that was really close to going all the way to the boundary. Instead, it's just 2 runs. 66 for 4 in the 14th over.
And we know Elsa Lister has got the power, scored quick runs of the day at Durham.
Okay, she's facing again. And this time it's up to the wide, long off area for a single. She moves to 3. And the score up to 67 for 4 now.
Lister, the Scottish player that we signed a few years ago, or Lancashire Thunder signed a few years ago, has been working through the academy and the pathway, and is now in this first team.
Looking to reverse into the pads. LBW appeal turned down. Now a little bit of hesitation, which could cost. It doesn't do. Maybe it should have done. What was she looking at? The ball? She just wasn't moving. Or maybe she was waiting for a call from Fee Morris that didn't come, and she realised, well, you might not be calling, but I can see you moving. Anyway, it's the completion of that over. It is 14 overs now gone, 68 for 4. They get through for a single, but that had me a little bit worried for a moment or two there for Lancashire. What was it? If we see a replay, she was really slow to get going, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. I think she was probably ball watching and not really realising where the ball had gone, and wasn't that aware that there's an opportunity for a single. But they're both still at the wicket. Listers on 3, just joined Fee Morris at the crease, who was on 11 from 13. But you can see that little bit of indecision, and caused probably by that little bit of panic. And what's the basis for that? Well, they need to get more runs quite quickly, so they're beginning just to question or make some questionable decisions with the running at this point in time, but that stems from wanting to get more runs quickly.
Bex Tyson it is bowling. Spin, left arm round the wicket. It's uppish, but it's going to be safe down here towards the boundary to our right hand side. Oh, she's coming back for 2. Steady on, get back in. Again, that was Lister turning around, thinking maybe there's 2. It was, in fairness, it was her call to see where the ball had. Oh no, it wasn't actually. It was from Morris at this end. She should have been called in. Either way, they're safe, but they've got me worried at the moment. 69 for 4. Lister and Fee Morris, the not-out pair here for Lancashire. And this is Tyson's 3rd over, 1 for 9. And she again will come around the wicket. Into bowl, gets down on one knee, plays that nicely out there through the leg side, but again too close to a fielder. There has been a lot of that going on. We've talked when it's happened, there's a single there. We've talked when it's happened of really good placement, but we've actually not seen too much of that. I suppose you could say the good placement is that of the fielders.
And you know what, they fielded pretty well, Hampshire Hawks, haven't they? They've taken the opportunities and stopped a lot of 2s.
Once again, it's Tyson round the wicket, outside edge. Oh, what can you do with that? She's got enough on that to find that racing down to the boundary at the far end. That's going to be 4 runs. A signal by the umpire here. Umpire O'Shaughnessy. Well, however they come, it's a 4 for Morris, used to the feet. Actually, that wasn't just an outside edge. I think she knew exactly what she was doing there. A nice little flick. There's nobody there. The keeper stood up. Full credit. Well-deserved boundary for Morris. She moves to 16, and the score is 74 for 4 in this 15th over. And again, around the wicket. This time it's a low full toss, and it's driven back. Can't get down to it. Should have done. They'll come through for 1. Could be close, and misses. I think she would have made her ground, because I think on that occasion there was good decision. Good decisive move there. Knew what she was doing. I mean, you know, there's got to be an element of danger here. They know they're a little behind. Actually, there was a little bit of hesitation from Morris, but she makes her ground. Regardless, it misses, but makes her ground anyway. 75 for 4. Well, it's really hotting up here now, because Lancashire know they need more runs here. 75 for 4. I say that. They've got 2 balls left of this 15th over. Tyson around the wicket, in and bowls, and that's played out through the leg side. It'll go through for 1. I say they know that. Perhaps part of the indecisive nature of all this is they're thinking, well, this isn't easy, and it's not going to be easy for either side. But when you're chasing and you know what you've got to do, that does perhaps hand that to the chasing team maybe a bit more, Paul. You may disagree. 76 for 4. Morris is on 17 round the wicket, and that's played nicely for 1. Again, they'll have to be quick, running to the danger end, which is the batter's end, but the throw is okay, but it's not that great in direction, therefore they're safely through for a single. Completes another over. Oh, this is going to be so interesting, this last 5 now, as to how this is going to be played, how it's going to play out. 77 for 4 after 15 overs. Lister on 5, Fee Morris on 18. Paul, don't you move anywhere for now. Somebody's going to come in and replace me, and it's going to be Kevin. And I'll see you all a bit later. This is going to be a good last 5, this.
Yes, absolutely. And certainly from this perspective, or this point in the game, Lancashire Thunder will still be looking at around about 130 and building this partnership to get to 130. We've seen Lister look to bat powerfully and strike the ball, and we know that she's done that in the past. But it's really important she does that now for Thunder. She's on 5, and Fee Morris is on 18. But from a Hawks perspective, I think they've fielded really well, they've bowled well, got themselves very much in this game, and we're wanting to keep Thunder below 120.
As Charlie Knott comes in, and it's worked out on the onside. A little bit of confusion between the 2 batters. So the ball just trickles out away on the leg side. So we've got 5 overs left here, Paul. What are you sort of thinking? Because 77 for 4, do you reckon on the conditions, maybe par, below par?
I think they're slightly below par. I think they'll be targeting 130 from here, and I think Hampshire Hawks, we wanted to keep them below 120. Lancashire be thinking if we can get to 130 and then get 2-3 quick wickets in power play, we're in the game.
Down the wicket, that's over the top. Not completely timed, but it's wide of mid-off. Fee Morris will pick up 2. Open to face of the bat there, did Fee Morris. Didn't quite get it out the middle.
No, didn't quite get it, and it doesn't look the easiest pitch to have scored runs or timed the ball, does it? And also the outfield seems slightly slower than it was at the weekend, so that conspires to a slightly lower than normal total. But if they can get round about 125, 130, I think they'll be in the game.
Fee Morris goes for a reverse sweep. It's up in the air and it's caught by Mary Taylor. Just a looping catch for Taylor. Backward of square on the offside, and Fee Morris goes for 20, just as she was starting to open her shoulders.
And just as I was beginning to build people and the listeners' confidence in that Lancashire were going to get to 130, let me apologise for that, as Fee Morris is dismissed, trying to be creative, trying to create runs and opportunities for runs, and unfortunately for her, that little bit of creativity and innovation didn't quite work. There's not balls at back of the length, outside off stump, and it's a premeditated reverse pull really, and Fee Morris has departed, and the score is 79 for 5, which brings to the crease the former Viper player Tara Norris, who can be hard hitting. She'll be going in there with clear instruction to hit the ball hard from a really strong base. Talking about the departed, I'm just about to depart this hot seat, ready for Scott Reed that keeps looking at me, because every time I say anything positive about Lancashire, and a sign of a recovery, or the impetus is beginning to change, or the momentum's working towards Lancashire. Every time I say that, Scott looks at me and a wicket goes down.
Well, you know what to do. Don't look at him. Whatever you do, don't look at Scott Reed. We'll know that if another wicket falls in this over, then you will have looked over your shoulder. You couldn't have resisted it. You would have been responsible for bringing Tara Norris to Lancashire.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. I really like the way Tara plays the game, a character, the swing bowler, left arm, decent pace, busy cricketer.
Yes.
And looks to hit the ball hard. I really like that. And she's done pretty well for Thunder over the last few years.
She certainly has. As Charlie knocks round the wicket, it's flighted, it's worked on the leg side. Norris will be off the mark straight away if there's an inside edge onto the pad. I don't think there is, actually. Looking at the umpire, they're going to signal leg byes. But they've run one.
In fact, I think she got an outstanding 50 or maybe 60 at Southport in the tie with Vipers about 3 years ago.
Yes, you're right.
An unbelievable knock, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I personally wasn't there, but I remember the Vipers talking about that. And she's done that on 1 or 2 occasions. I remember up at Northampton. It might have been a final, actually. Her and Emily Windsor knocked off runs at the end, and she's very good towards the end of an innings. That's driven hard by Ailsa Lister up towards mid-off, and 81 for 5 the score moves on to. She's also been involved with the USA, hasn't she? World Cup qualifiers.
She has, yes.
Recently, and they've got through that.
Yeah.
They're off to the global qualifier next. That's nice, isn't it? It's all right for some of these players, isn't it? Those World Cup qualifiers featuring USA and Canada, amongst others, was in Argentina. That's worked all off the pad, actually. And that's the end of the over. So 16 overs are gone. Looks like, Paul, you're still saying, well, you're looking at Scott. Don't look at Scott.
Yeah, Scott is just walking in slowly, making his very elegant walk across the commentary box as he moves towards the hot seat. I'll leave you with the incoming Scott Reed.
Thank you very much, Paul. Great stuff. Paul Shaw there, former Lancashire Thunder head coach, with us. I think he's here all today, actually. Are you here all today? He's doing the men's game later on as well. There he is. So he's in for a long day today. Scott didn't know that, obviously. I'm only the guest here. You should know all this.
I have no idea what's going
on. Will you settle down? Shall I do this one? Here's Georgia Adams then. She's using her feet here. Is Ailsa Lister. That's driven up to mid-off for a single. She's been involved in World Cup qualifiers as well for Scotland back in April. Involved in that last ball defeat against Ireland by 1 wicket in Lahore, which actually cost Scotland any chances of progressing through the World Cup qualifiers. She was involved in that tournament. But Tara Norris, formerly of the South. Even now, I still find it weird her playing against all Vipers as it was, and now Hampshire. Yeah, always considered her one of our own. So that's worked on the onside. Adams comes across fields. Norris now is off the mark, and it's 83 for 5.
Your instant thoughts here is that this is quite some way short, isn't it? But never entirely certain, are you? Certainly when this is quite a big ground to try and find boundaries, and scoring quickly it can be quite tricky. You've got to run well here, for example, haven't you? But it's been quite slow, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, 3 players have got in and got out, really. That's nicely hammered away, but only as far as deep mid-wicket, where Ella McGacken doesn't pick it up cleanly, allowing the players to come back, or the batters to come back for 2. 85. I mean, it feels not enough.
No, it does not.
But as Paul was saying, and he was obviously out there in the middle at the toss of the coin and doing the pre-match presentations, that he feels that perhaps there's a little bit of dampness there and what have you, which may be just playing a little bit into contention. That's full outside the off stump, and it's called a wide. I think she was expecting Lister to come down the wicket there, Adams. But yeah, overall, when you just look at the score and whatever, you feel that they're probably a good 15, 20 runs behind where they'd like to be. Adams bowls, always missed stumping maybe. It was full delivery, she missed the drive, and Rhianna Southby wasn't able to take it cleanly. Yeah, she's come down here. She would have been out by about half a yard. Ailsa Lister Adams in again. Hits that into the ground. Bounces away like a super ball on the leg side. Rebecca Tyson fields behind square, but Lister picks up a single. So looks like she's favouring the leg side there, Lister.
Batted really nicely on Sunday, Elsa Lister, in the game against Durham. Again, when Lancashire Thunder were in a little bit of bother, they're stuttering a little bit on Sunday, and then Lister and Threlkel put together a good partnership. They put together over 50. Lister making 42, hit the last couple of balls for 6 as well.
Oh, well. Yeah, she looks as though she can hit a mean ball. Hasn't quite got hold of it yet. That's worked on the onside by Norris. She doubles a total onto 2, 88 for 5 in the... In fact, that's 17 overs completed, I think. Yeah, because Georgia Adams has taken a cap. Oh, no. It's not the end of the over. Oh, of course, there's a wide. Yeah, it's the confusion. It looked like Adams was the only one that thought that was the end of the over. And clearly, that was wrong.
Steve O'Shaughnessy just checking everything up to the scorers to make sure that everyone's on the right page. The umpire at this end. Just double checking, guys.
Have I miscounted?
We've miscounted, yeah.
No. See, George Adams was right all along.
So it was the last ball of the over. Yeah, confirmation required from the umpires to our scorers today. Everything's all right. All numbers in place. Everything's double checking.
It's a nice orange top.
It's lovely. Yeah. Speaking of clothing wear today, I think the umpire at that far end, Jasmine Naeem, has just got the most magnificent boots on. Matching boots with the jacket. Look at that. That's brilliant.
Would you like a pair?
I would love a pair.
Would you?
Yeah. I mean, I'd look like a right plonker.
No, you wouldn't.
No, I would. She pulls it off. She's like looking pretty smart there. I'd look like a right plonker.
It helps with the same coloured top.
Yeah, yeah. Liking that. Little touch of colour. What colour is that jacket the umpires are wearing? It's something like a bright pink, isn't it?
Yeah. There's obviously something pink, isn't it?
He's not into to Norris. That's hit down the ground, out towards long on, and a good catch, I think, taken. Yes, it is. Boucher coming up from the boundary. Norris going for a big shot down towards long on. It's a good diving catch. Boucher diving forward and did well to firstly get fingers underneath it, and then when she took the catch, not to kind of see it bounce out. Good catch. Low down, coming forward. Lancashire Thunder lose another wicket. Start of the 18th over, 6 down, 88 for 6 now.
Yeah, the innings has never really flowed, has it, at any stage? You know, you can't look at the innings so far and say over those 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 over period that 2 batters have really sort of dominated the bowling and got on top. You know, you've had Kestevan threatening 28 from 40, Smale threatening 20 from 19, and Fee Morris 20 from 20, but nobody's really sort of got stuck in yet, and certainly not 2 together.
Yeah, just not got going, has it really? What can they try and scramble together here in these final 3 overs to give something to try and defend? Darcy Carter is a new batter. And an appeal for LBW. She tries to whip it away to the leg side. They'll scramble through for a leg bye. Carter still on 0. And Lancashire Thunder move to 89 for 6. So we're in the 18th. And Elsa Lister is on strike.
2 Scottish internationals out there in the middle.
And Lister's waiting and coming down the pitch and hitting it up and over cover. Will that reach the rope? It does. It's a welcome boundary for Lancashire Thunder at the back end of this innings here. And Lister, mentioned, with a very important knock on Sunday against Durham, trying to replicate that innings at the back end here today. 93 for 6.
She looks a strong player. She looks a really good batter.
She's on 14. And steps across the leg side and with a thickish under edge, sees the ball deflect behind square down towards the fine leg boundary for 4 more. Fine leg inside the circle.
Yeah, I think Tyson's just got to trust her field. They're quite big boundaries straight here. She's got some really good fielders out there. Maya Boucher, we've already seen taking a really good catch straight. Maybe just bowl a little fuller and just make the batters play straight and trust the fielders behind you.
Back-to-back boundaries, one through cover, one down to fine leg. Down the pitch she comes again, hits it back over the bowler's head. Just be a single there. Score moves on to 98 for 6. With one delivery left of the 18th over, then 2 to go. Carter's on strike. Tyson in to complete her 4 overs for the day. Going back, trying to whip it away to the leg side. The ball actually just, in the end, spins away down the leg side. So wide call by umpire Naeem. 99 for 6. Tyson to bowl it again. And bowls Carter. That's a 3rd wicket for Tyson. Signs off nicely from her 4-over spell. 4 overs, 3 for 27. Carter goes without scoring. Lancashire Thunder lose their 7th wicket, 99 for 7, with 2 overs to go. She went a bit full, she went a bit straight, and she got the breakthrough.
Yeah, that may just have flicked the pad, I think, on the way through. I think there's a bit of a deflection if you're watching the picture feed. Here we go. Just watch the ball come down now, and yeah, that's flicked off the start, off the pad.
Nice end for Tyson, though. Tidy stuff from the left arm spinner. 3 for 25. So 12 balls left, and it's Lancashire Thunder are stumbling a bit here. They've not really had any sense of momentum in their innings, really. It's been a bit stuttery so far. Can they try and find a positive way to end it here?
It's only a 2nd game T20 in a Hampshire shirt for Rebecca Tyson, but that's her best figures. Picked up 3 for 40 last week against Essex. Freya Davis is back into the attack with her right arm medium paces. Rhiannon Southby is standing up, and that's a good Yorker and well dug out by Lister. That was a good bit of cricket.
Well, she's seen what Lister's done already in this game, and what Lister did on Sunday against Durham. She can clear the ropes, and straight away fires in a Yorker. You ain't hitting that for 4 or 6. Did well to dig it out.
Yeah, Freya Davis has got a good head on her shoulders. She'll know exactly what to do in this situation. Shorter though this time, and it's pulled away on the leg side. Finds the fielder Rebecca Tyson. Direct hit would have been out, I think. Just misses the stumps.
So
Johnson's home.
Yeah, it would have been close, wouldn't it? He direct hit, perhaps struggling. They've scrambled towards 100 here.
100 off 110 deliveries. I mean, when you look at it like that, you know, it's not too bad, but I just can't help thinking that, you know, maybe another 10 or 15 at this stage would have been handy, but they've lost 7 wickets. Grace Johnson is the batter facing Davis, and it's short again and not really timed around the corner. Tyson in the game against once more on the leg side behind square.
Well, they set the blaze 170 to win here on Saturday. They finished on 169 for 4 on Saturday, Thunder, and the blaze got to 170 with 7 wickets remaining and 5 balls left.
Does it feel the same type of wicket?
Just feels a bit slower yet.
Davis in again. That's a little follow. Hit away on the leg side. That's going for 6. What a hit there from Ailsa Lister. Over the head of Charlie Knott. My word, she got hold of that.
Didn't she just? Goodness, that's a big, big hit out towards mid-wicket. Tapper shot we saw on Sunday again. She's clearing mid-wicket on a couple of occasions at the back end of the innings for Lancashire Thunder. It's another big blow, one step back and whang, out towards deep mid-wicket. Goodness me, that's a big hit for 6.
It is, isn't it? She's already played 38 T20 internationals for Scotland. She's only 21 years of age, my word. She's a handy player for the Scottish side, that's for sure. 26 from 15, 107 for 7. Chat between the 2 batters out there in the middle as Freya Davis composes herself for the next delivery. 1 for 14 from 14 balls. Comes in and bowls outside the off stump, and it's going to be called a wide.
Yeah, it felt like on Saturday, potentially maybe the pitch, well, playing on the one that you can see that's been used relatively recently, maybe kind of 6 pitches to the left of the one that we're on. It felt like that was probably a flatter, quicker surface than maybe what we've got tonight or today.
Yeah. Just noticed Freya Davis running back to a mark there. There's minutes in this to get their last over and try to hammer that away on the leg side. Lister doesn't get hold of that one, but they do come through for a single.
Yeah, not too far away from the cut-off time, are they? No.
2 minutes away, and there's one ball left of this over. They should be all right now. 109 for 7.
Look, either way, whether it's just not quite as quick a pitch as it was at the weekend, they're going to have to bowl and field superbly well here to try and defend whatever it is that they finish on.
That's right. Still two minutes to go, so we should be all right. That's a slower ball pulled away, not timed by Grace Johnson. Are they going to pick up 2? I think they are. Quite a big area out to defend at deep mid-wicket, and Charlie Knockout running quick enough. And actually the miss hit actually benefited Grace Johnson there because she picks up 2. 111 for 7. Hampshire will get their last over in with no worries.
Well, even just it might be in the end not enough runs on the board here. We don't know yet, but just a sense of trying to end well, that sense of trying to find some boundaries, finish on the front foot. If Lister, crucially, who's on strike for this final over, she can try and chip in with another boundary or 2. It can make a big difference, can't it, when you end your innings well with a bit of a feel-good factor. Take it into your bowling.
Yeah, and if Grace Potts and Tara Norris start well, I presume they'll be opening the bowling. If they can get the ball in the right areas early on, put the Hampshire batting under pressure early on, you never know.
Here is not in bowls to Lister. Down the pitch she comes, trying to force the ball away through the offside. Oh, and there's a slight misfield on the backup from Georgia Adams. There's a decent stop low down to the left of cover. Pace taken off it, but then Adams coming round to complete the field, didn't quite pick it up cleanly. It's allowed Lister to get back on strike, which is pretty handy for Lancashire Thunder. The Hampshire Hawks bench will be pretty confident that they'll be able to chase whatever it is they're set down here. As that's hammered out towards the leg side. It's in the air, out towards deep mid-wicket, and for 6. Ditani was underneath it on the deep mid-wicket boundary, trying to get herself set into position to take a catch. But again, such power hitting by Lister over deep mid-wicket for 6, 119 for 7.
Wow, what a powerful player she is. 21 years of age, and she's already hit a couple of shots today that I think the men would be proud of.
119 for 7, 4 balls left. Here's not for Hampshire from around the wicket bowls. She's trying to help it down towards fine leg. She's in the end ended up on her belly, and she tries to kind of whip it away down towards fine leg. It's been called a wide by the umpire. There's quite a lot happening there. Trying to sweep it down to fine leg, tumbles forward.
I think they thought she might have got a glove on that.
120 for 7. Wide calls, there's still 4 to go. Lister skipping down the pitch, hitting it back over the bowler's head, bouncing just beyond the 30-metre circle. Can she come and get back on strike? Throw comes in towards the bowler's end. Well, Johnson's been run out, but it's a run out for the team, really, because they've got to get Lister on strike for the majority of these final deliveries.
Yeah, they had to run 2. You've got to get Lister on strike, and it was a bit of a suicidal second run. Wasn't helped by the fact it was a direct hit from Boucher. I mean, she's out by a long way. If you watch this in the picture feed, hardly even run the batting.
No, but it was about getting Lister back on strike, isn't it, for Thunder? 121 for 8. As much as Lancashire Thunder have seemed to have struggled to get some kind of momentum into their batting, but credit to Hampshire here, the way they bowled, the fielding has been pretty much spot on.
Well, it has. It's been very good, but there's still 3 balls left, and I wouldn't rule out Lister hitting another 6 here the way she's been striking it. She looks a very impressive batter.
36 from 19. Could be really, really significant runs at the back end of this innings for Thunder. Down the pitch she comes again, clubbers it back over Knott's head, bouncing up towards long off, just for a single.
That's a good shot for 1. I mean, she's hit that pretty well, just a little flatter.
22 for 8. What have we got left? 2 balls left, and Grace Potts is the new batter. Well, basically boundary or a single, isn't it? And get Lister on strike for the next the next delivery, the final ball. Can she find 1, or can she find a boundary? Almost a free hit, really. It's a swing and a miss taken by the keeper. It's good work by the keeper to take the catch and then clip off the bails. Couldn't find 1. couldn't find the boundary, so it will be Potts to face his final delivery. Be a sense of frustration for Lister at the non-striker's end. Should have loved to have been on strike for the final ball, but it will be Potts to face it. Here comes Knott around the wicket, bowls, another play and another miss, and again taken by the keeper, who appeals for a stumping. But that's the end of the over. It's the end of the innings as well. A couple of dot balls to end it. 122 for 8 is what Lancashire Thunder have finished on, and Lister's 37 of 20 could yet be an important part of this innings. I think we're going to be heading outside for a little chat with Elsa Lister in a moment or two, so we'll be able to bring you that both on the BBC and on Lancs TV as well. So 122 for 8. Let's head outside. Here is Fraser Dainton.
37 for Elsa Lister as Lancashire made 122. Elsa, well played. It looked like it was tough going out there.
Yeah, it is tough. The wind's obviously coming into play as well, and I thought Hampshire bowled pretty well, especially up top. So yeah, it's definitely something to learn for when we go into our bowling innings.
Runs hard to come by for a lot of the players. Just so how vital was it for you and one or two others to bring in some decent scores?
Yeah, I think when we were sat at the side, we just kind of had a target score in mind, and we just want to back our bowlers. And yeah, if we've got something to defend, then yeah, we're happy enough.
You've got some good players in your squad, though. Surely you'll fancy yourselves on home soil to be able to defend this total.
Yeah, definitely. I think we back ourselves loads, and yeah, definitely back our bowlers, and I think we could defend anything. But I think, yeah, to get up to that total, I'm happy with that.
Well batted today. Thanks, Elsa.
Thank you very much.
Let's bring in Paul back once again. Paul, your thoughts on the innings? It was tough going to get some runs today.
Yeah, it was tough going. A very different pitch to what Lancashire played on just a few days ago. So it just stuck in the pitch a little bit. Looked difficult to time. But having said that, 130 on here. I thought if they could get to 130, they might be in the game. They've got 122, and just looking at the runs, Stevenson 28 off 40 shows that she normally floors a lot quicker than that. So it shows the pitch wasn't easy to score on. Smell 20 off 19. And also the two big innings really of Fee Morris 20 off 20, and then 37 off 20 from Elsa Lister, who I thought played superbly in the context of that game. So 122 for 8, slightly short, but do you know what? Couple of early wickets in that power play, bit of confidence builds, that belief comes in, and all of a sudden they could have the Hampshire Hawks under a little bit of pressure.
Just how important could that innings from Elsa Lister be?
I think hugely important, because without that knock, Lancashire might have been around about 100. But the way she played in the context of the games and scoring 37 in just 20 balls when everyone else had struggled to score, I think is absolutely fantastic, and was much needed by that Lancashire batting unit at that point in time.
122, it's not a massive total, but it is defendable on this pitch though. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Lancashire are going to have to bowl really, really well, as we all know, in that power play, and probably just be back of a length and vary their pace a little bit, and make sure that they keep the wickets in play, which brings all dismissals into play. So they're going to have to bowl really, really well. They needed to field really well and hunt in packs and really build pressure on the batting lineup. Of course, Hampshire have got some good batters in there. Boucher's there, the England players playing today, and they do have lots of young batters batting all the way down. But the other thing I should say is that credit to the Hampshire bowling unit, who I thought bowled and also fielded really, really well, and well captained by Georgia Adams.
Yeah, they did make it very, very difficult for runs to come by this afternoon, didn't they?
They absolutely did. They bowled good areas, built pressure, got a little bit of movement off the pitch, but bowled really accurate lines and lengths, and stopped a lot of twos in the field as well, and took the vast majority of opportunities. I thought they was a good fielding performance, bowling performance, and I thought the captaincy of Georgia Adams was outstanding.
Georgia in particular is going to be one of those players we're going to have to look out for here as far as the batting unit, but Maya Bouchier is the one, isn't she? She's the key wicket for this innings, surely.
Yeah, Maya Bouchier, the experience, and she hits down the ground a lot. He's a really good player, times the ball well, he's quite powerful, and he's quite capable of knocking this total off. But again, Georgia Adams batting at round about 4 has often provided that foundation and that safety net, a little bit like Ellie Threlkeld has done for Lancashire recently this season, is reading situations, playing the situations really, really well, and playing them better than the opposition, and being there at the end to win the games of cricket for Hampshire. And I'm sure if she bats today, that's what she'll try to do. But I think Boucher's the lookout.
It's really going to be really intriguing, isn't it, as far as this innings is concerned. Paul, thanks very much for the moment. Don't forget, Emirates' first ball flyer is coming up very soon. If the first bowler of the first Lancashire ball gets a wicket, somebody here at Emirates Old Trafford could be going to Dubai, courtesy of our headline sponsor, Emirates. The Emirates first ball flyer coming up very soon. Get on the socials, let us know where you are, how you're enjoying the game, and what your thoughts are on the next innings. The run chase is coming up shortly. Lancashire made 122, Hampshire need 123 to win.
Two names rich in history, Bartons, our family-run business with over 100 years of experience in drinks distribution, and Lancashire Cricket, a club drenched in tradition, heritage and globally recognised moments. Since 1917, Bartons has been supplying the finest wines, soft drinks and premium beverages across the UK, partnering with world-class brands to bring unforgettable experiences to every occasion. Now, we're excited to announce we will be bringing that same passion to cricket fans at Emirates Old Trafford. As the official wine, spirits and soft drinks partner of Lancashire Cricket, we're elevating matchday experiences, hospitality and celebrations across the next 3 years. From the first ball to the final cheers, Bartons is here to make every moment one to savour. Keep an eye out for some familiar brands such as Guinness, Celavino, VK Hooch and Britvic. Bartons and Lancashire Cricket, partnership built on passion, unforgettable moments and history.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary.
Welcome to the opening day. Oh, that is a wonderful shot.
This is a call for hungry dreamers and hard-working self-believers. Success is down to more than just luck and talent. It's striving to be the best, breaking the boundaries and never giving up. Are you ready to become your best self? Are you ready to unlock your greatness? So what are you waiting for? This is Education Evolved. This is UA 92.
When I was a kid, there was no professional women's cricket. I didn't even think that women could be professional sports people.
Especially early on, it just didn't really seem like there was a career in it.
To support myself around cricket, I had to work at the petrol garage.
I was the only girl, so I stood out.
I'd love for young girls to be able to dream about being an athlete and it to be achievable.
Thanks to the Hilton funding my contract, it's allowed me to play the game that I love all day, every day.
We're like an engine and we need to be fueled with the right gas.
Without funding, we can't be visible. You can't be what you can't see.
As a team, it feels like we're breaking boundaries.
Thunder and Lancashire always want to put women's cricket at the forefront, and now I think that's really shining through.
It's mad to think that without the Hilton funding, like, we wouldn't be playing cricket every day, training.
Well, we could be, but we wouldn't have any money.
We wouldn't, yeah, true.
Two names rich in history: Bartons, our family-run business with over 100 years of experience in drinks distribution, and Lancashire Cricket, a club drenched in tradition, heritage and globally recognised moments. Since 1917, Bartons has been supplying the finest wines, soft drinks and premium beverages across the UK, partnering with world-class brands to bring unforgettable experiences to every occasion. Now, we're excited to announce we will be bringing that same passion to cricket fans at Emirates Old Trafford. As the official wine, spirits and soft drinks partner of Lancashire Cricket, we're elevating matchday experiences, hospitality and celebrations across the next 3 years. From the first ball to the final cheers, Bartons is here to make every moment one to savour. Keep an eye out for some familiar brands such as Guinness, Celavino, VK Hooch and Britvic. Bartons and Lancashire Cricket, partnership built on passion, unforgettable moments and history.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary.
Welcome to the opening day. Oh, that is a wonderful shot.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back onto the pitch our umpires this afternoon, Steve O'Shaughnessy and Jasmine Naim. Ladies and gents, please welcome the opening batters for today's visitors, Hampshire Hawks women. Emirates Old Trafford, here we go. Please welcome back onto the pitch, Lancashire Thunder! Don't forget, ladies and gents. Don't forget, ladies and gents, we are now ready for the Emirates first ball flyer. If whoever bowls the first Lancashire ball gets a wicket, then somebody here could be on their way to Dubai. 2 tickets for Dubai, courtesy of Emirates. Ladies and gents, are you ready for the Emirates first ball flyer? Here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Tara Norris with the first ball for Lancashire Thunder. If Tara takes a wicket with the first ball, keep your eyes on the screen. Somebody could be going to Dubai with the Emirates first ball flyer. Are you ready?
Two tickets heading for some lucky supporter. So it's the first ball flyer. So there's tickets at stake for a holiday here. First ball of the innings, it's clipped away, it's in the air, but it'll be safe enough out towards deep backward square leg. In fact, safe enough, it's 4 to get Hampshire women up and running with this run chase. 4 on the board, chasing 123 to win here at Old Trafford in the first over.
Being a boundary, does that mean there's 4 tickets now? Nice shot to get off the mark. A little too straight there from Tara Norris. We were talking earlier, Boucher's in great form. 92 last week off 53 deliveries against Essex.
And here's Norris in and bowls, wraps her on the pad. It may just be angling down. It's a tight one. It's not a bad shout, and she's gone a fraction back into the crease.
That's a good shout. Ooh, it may just have pitched outside leg stump.
Could have done, yeah. It's a decent shout. Boucher going back, wrapping her on the pads. First shout for Lancashire Thunder. Hampshire chasing 123 to win. It's clipped out towards the square leg boundary. It'll just be a single. Score moves on to 5 without loss.
Yeah, she'll know a lot of these Hampshire ladies, of course. Tara Norris spent 6 seasons as a Southern Vipers player before moving to Thunder in 2023. Played 12 matches in the T20 competition for the Vipers. 16 wickets, good economy rate, 6.5 and over.
Halfway through her first over, 5 on the board for Hampshire. That's just nudged away off the back foot out towards the leg side. Fee Morris is at mid-wicket to field, and there is no run. So these two put on a stack of runs, didn't they, in that opening T20 fixture against Essex. The back end of last week, big partnership to lay a wonderful platform for Hampshire. So they're in good form. And that thuds away out towards the leg side. Morris picks up, shies at the stumps. Got through for a single. There's a little bit of bat on that as well. Been given us a run. 6 without loss with a delivery to go of the first over.
Yeah, they put on 158 in just in the 15th over. They were parted. Ella McGacken made 68 of those off 39, and Boucher 92 off 53.
Wow. 6 on the board here. 1 delivery to go of the first over of the run chase. And it's Norris in and bowls, played straight by Boucher towards mid-off where Potts fields. And they've got 6 off the first over of the run chase for Hampshire here on Lancs TV and on the BBC Sport website and app, and on Sports Extra 3 as well for the first of this T20 doubleheader from Manchester. Thunder against the Hawks, and then it'll be Lightning against the Foxes a little bit later on.
Yeah. Yeah, Boucher's innings of 92 last week was her second highest T20 score ever. She got 91 for England, and she got a 93 for the Vipers. And she is in a very good form. Nearly 300 runs in the One-Day Cup this year as well.
Decent.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. Hampshire are benefiting from her not being in the England setup. I spoke to her last week, actually, after that innings of 90. And, you know, I said to her, you know, you must be disappointed not to be selected by Charlotte Edwards, who, of course, knew her very well. She said, yeah, of course I am. But, yeah, she's been in good form this year without getting a real big one. I mean, McGacken has already got 100. That was against Lancashire in the One-Day Cup, her first ever 100. But Boucher not quite there. But together, these two have been super. We've got a start of a new over, and it's Grace Potts, and that's turned away, half stopped by Kestevan on the 45 on the leg side. They'll come back for 2. So yes, it's important from a Lancashire point of view that you don't really want to be seeing these two back for too long, because they won't hold back. Certainly Boucher, you don't hold back. So you know, if these two are still together by the 7th or 8th over, you can almost kiss the game goodnight. Grace Potts, signed by Central Sparks during the winter. That's pushed into a big gap between backward a point and extra cover. And that'll be a single for McGacken. 9 without loss.
And they don't really need to take too many risks here, do they? They can. I mean, it's a run a ball wins you the match, doesn't it? No need to try and force it too much. 2 batters, obviously, in really good nick. 2 experienced players. Boucher's obviously responded really well to not being selected by England because she's had runs all summer for Hampshire. So
yeah,
there's no need to do anything too drastic in this run chase, I guess.
Grace Potts from the pavilion end then, right arm over, bowls, Boucher pushes forward and the ball works its way up towards mid-on. I mean, you know, Lancashire have given themselves a chance, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Ailsa Lister Superb stuff at the end. And actually, Lancashire hit 34 in the last 3 overs.
Which, in a way, is quite worrying as well. as much as they've done well to get those in the last 3 overs, it probably shows that prior to that, they've left quite a bit out there.
Well, we'll wait and see, as you say, until both sides have batted and all that. Here's Grace Potts then. She's got to slip in, and that's left alone. Good shape from Potts.
Yeah, I mean, Liz has given Lancashire a bit of hope, hasn't she? And a bit of positivity that maybe they can try and defend it. They've got some runs on the board, which, when to be honest, it looked like they were going to be some way short. 122 might be enough.
Yeah.
But Liz has given them half a chance. Hampshire might be thinking, you know what, this could not just be a win. This might be a win within a point where you can get a bonus point as well.
Here's Potts. As Boucher drives, it goes up towards mid-off. They'll take a single. Throw comes in at the bowler's end. I think Boucher was always going to be comfortable there. Tara Norris attempting to throw the stumps down at the bowler's end. 10 without loss. Of course, it's a different point system, isn't it? Even though it's the same competition, men and women, but the points are different, aren't they? It's not 4 points for the men, is it? A win?
Yes.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, there you go. Right, I'll move on.
I think that's changed this season.
Has that changed this season? I was going to say, I didn't think up until this year that that's been the case. So clearly both competitions aligned. That's flicked away in the air, but it's going to be safe. Out towards deep backward of square leg from Boucher. And running in from the boundary was Katie Mack, who unfortunately wasn't able to make headlines, or hasn't so far. Of course, the game's not over yet, but it made 0. She was the first player out in the second over in her final game.
Yeah, I didn't know that myself until the other day.
Oh, right.
But yeah, the men have these 4 points for a win for both men's and women, so I guess they are completely aligned.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, isn't it? You want everything to be something similar. You want to be able to bounce from one competition to the other. If you've got double headers happening on the same day, in the same format, on the same ground, it'd be nice if everything was.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
The same.
You don't want different points awarded at different different games.
I mean,
that's good.
I'm confused at the best of times. That would confuse me even more.
So am I.
2 overs gone, 11 without loss. It will be Norris to send down her second over. McGacken on strike. Target of 123. Driven away, beautifully timed. Through the gap, through cover and extra cover, out towards the boundary. What a lovely shot. Talk about not needing to force anything. That was just pure timing.
When you're in form, aren't you, really? You're never trying to force it. You're never going to look for the ball. You just let the ball come on. You would automatically know the ball's going to hit the middle of the bat. I mean, you can't play that any better.
You watch that on a loop, couldn't you, really? Terrific timing. Just eased into it, pushed away through cover. 4 runs on the board, 15 without loss. McGacken moves on to 9. It's Norris. Balls again, full and wide, driven again, 4 more again. Almost cut off inside the infield, but as soon as that got underneath extra cover, it rattled out towards the rope. Again, it's a lovely shot, just reaching for it a fraction more, but beautiful shot through the cover.
And you know, it's uncanny when you're in good form like this. Any sort of shot you're playing, it seems to find a gap. You know, we found this last week with both these players. You know, every shot they played, it found a gap, and now we're finding the same. It's uncanny, and yet the minute you start getting out of form, whatever, you can be rasping shots. It goes straight to the fielder, and you think, God.
Norris balls again, driven straight this time, but to mid-on, and there's no run.
It just looks a little bit of shape that Norris had in the first innings. Good shout against Maya Boucher, LBW, though it pitched outside the line. That seems to have just disappeared in this over. Hence why the ball has just stayed outside the off stump and allowed McGacken to just free her hands through the shot.
She's on 13 from 8. Boucher 6 from 7 at the other end.
Threlkar's doing her best to shore up 1 or 2 gaps. Just changing the field. Square leg's coming in now.
Yeah, there's a deep point and fine leg on the rope. Everybody else inside the fielding circle. And this power play defended again by McGacken. Back down the pitch to Norris, and there's no run. A couple of boundaries, back-to-back 4s, driven beautifully through the covers. A couple of dot balls to follow up in the third over. 19 on the board, 104 to win, 104 balls left. Lancashire Thunder, if they didn't know it before, but I suspect they did. Now they're going to have to bowl superbly well here. All chances to be taken. Fielding's going to be spot on. It's in the air. This is the first early chance. Will it land safe? It will. Up and over the top of mid-on. McGacken comes back for 2. Moves on to 15, 21 with that loss.
Yeah, just wide of Grace Johnson there. Hit into the gap, fortunately for McGacken. Didn't quite get hold of that. Almost like helped in the air, wasn't it, rather than really hit with any force.
Landed maybe 10 or 15 yards beyond Grace Johnson. Final ball of the over. And muscled away over Johnson down towards the wide long on boundary. Won't quite have enough on it to reach the rope. And they'll jog back for 2 more. But a pretty profitable over. A couple of boundaries to start it. A couple of 2s to finish it. 23 on the board, exactly 100 required for Hampshire Hawks to reach that target of 123 to win.
Yeah, not the kind of over you want to see early on from the fielding side when you know that you're chasing a total which feels a little bit below par. It's already a good start from the first 3 overs. Both batters have felt the ball on the bat, feel pretty confident. They're hitting straight. They're trying to hit quite straight, which is also important. Fielders up, mid-on and mid-off. You've seen there that even though either of those shots weren't particularly well timed, it's a fairly safe shot with mid-on and mid-off up, unless you've completely mistimed it. So I think both batters will be pretty happy out there. They should be. It's going to be Grace Potts to continue from the James Anderson Pavilion end. First over went for 5. Tall right arm seamer. No slip now for Bouchier. That's way down the leg side. That's a wide. You don't need those either. Chasing a tight, or when you're trying to defend a tight total. And just an over or so ago, the run rate required was over 6s, just over 6s. Now it's below 6. Again, pressure just being taken away a little bit, if there was any, on the Hampshire batters. Boucher 6 from 7, playing second fiddle to McGacken at the moment. Comes down the wicket, drives pleasantly past the bowler, past mid-on and mid-off, and that's 4 runs. That's beautifully timed. Again, the hit straight down the pitch. Look at this, Boucher. 2 paces down the wicket, meets the ball almost on the half volley, just keeps a body weight into the shot. There's no risk there. There's 0 risk with that shot.
Such a good start, isn't it? It's a solid start in terms of runs on the board, but it's the style, it's the way they've played the shots.
Yeah.
They look like they're 2 players that are in supreme form.
Yeah, they certainly are. As Potts comes in again, Boucher pulls that away on the leg side, over the top of mid-wicket. There is a fielder out deep. It won't quite reach the rope, but it'll be 2 more to the Hampshire total. Takes them on to 30 without loss in the 4th. Remember, they are chasing 123.
And that, when you get off to a start like this, don't you, when you're kind of halfway through the 4th over of the run chase, it's now down to double figures required to win. You've not lost any wickets. It does kind of suck a bit of the energy out of the opposition that have got something on the board because of the way that they ended their innings.
Difficult, of course, because we're in the power play, so limited in how many fielders you can have out deep. No, that's up in the air. Has it gone over the head of Threlcold? It has, but it could be caught behind her, and it is. There's the first wicket. That's caught by Sophie Morris, who was on fine leg running behind the keeper. It was up in the air a while. She kept her eyes on it well. Boucher goes for 12. Top edge pull shot. It's 30 for 1.
Well, that's a good catch for a number of reasons. One, it's important because Lancashire desperately need wickets, and Boucher's been in fabulous form this season. But secondly, because there's 3 going after it, you can easily get yourself in a mix-up here as to who wants to take the catch, because the keeper instantly turns to come back to chase after it, thinking, well, I've got the gloves, I'm in the best position. Ellie Threlquell quickly realised she ain't going to get there. And then it's short fine and short third are running towards it. So you've got that second potential collision point. But if you watch the top edge here, Ellie Threlquell, the keeper, straight away, that's mine, quickly realises it's too far. And Sophie Morris knows that there's also short fine coming up from the other side of the circle as well. So, yeah, that's a good catch, that, because in the back of Sophie Morris's mind, I think it's Tilly Kesteven who's also inside the circle behind the keeper, also running after it. Could have got themselves all mixed up there. But it's good work by Sophie Morris.
It certainly was, yeah, an important catch as well.
So need more, don't they?
Yeah, oh yeah. So it's Charlie Knott. He's the new batter, the Australian overseas player, facing her first ball from Potts. He's trying to cut that away. It's wide. Not signalled by the umpire, though. Knott, as we were saying earlier, missed the last game for Hampshire, or the first game in this competition for Hampshire last week against Essex because of a visa complication, having left the country for a couple of days on a holiday, and I'm not sure how it all panned out, but she wasn't able to play in the Hampshire side last Thursday, but she's back here now. There's Potts bowls, and that's worked up towards mid-wicket by Charlie Knott, but she's another player that's been in good form this year for Hampshire in the One Day Cup, just a couple of runs short of 300 in the 8 matches that have been played so far. I think she might have also got some runs up at Southport on that run chase, if I remember rightly. I'm just having a look. Oh, 47 from 54. Potts bowls, that's on the line of leg stump. It's turned away by Knott. There'll be at least 2 here. Comfortable 2. For Charlie Knott, even though she's running the second one fairly quickly, maybe just to get herself a bit loose. Didn't need to run quite that quick. 32 for 1 at the end of the 4th over. Grace Potts has picked up the opening wicket.
I mentioned that 8 games in the One Day Cup this season. We're now into the T20 blast. There's been the Women's T20 County Cup as well. You look at the volume of cricket that the players are playing this year compared to even a couple of seasons ago. I mean, it's changed so much, hasn't it? There's far more games, and I remember speaking to Kate Cross a few years about about this, and she said, "I'm bored of training. You know, we train so much, we train more than we play, and it needs to get to the other way."
Yeah.
And we're on that.
There, isn't it?
We're on that path now, aren't we? I think
certainly is. You know what's disconcerting? Everybody around us has been eating. It's only me and you that hasn't been eating in the last 10 minutes. Yeah.
Everyone's tucked in, haven't they?
They have. I hope they leave us some.
Here comes Johnson over the wicket, in and balls off the back foot by McGacken. Actually, for a single, he's deflected away down towards short third. Short fine leg, rather. 33 for 1. I think it's some kind of chicken curry today.
Is it? That'd be nice. If there's still something.
Well, I can't promise you that.
No, I know you can't. Well, I know you haven't cooked it. I know. I know you haven't measured out the portions.
It's normally served up between the 2 games, so yeah, it might not be any left for you, mate.
Oh, well.
It's all right.
Not to worry. I'm sure there's an outlet somewhere on the ground before I leave.
Not on 2. Keeper Threlkeld standing up behind the stumps. 90 to win from 95. Johnson in balls, back of a length. It's in the air from a top edge, a mistimed pull. And safely. And actually, they'll scamper through in the end. It turned out to be quite a sharp single. Fee Morris with a pick up and throw towards the bowler's end. The mistimed pull from Knott was quite a thickish top edge, and they kind of laboured through for the single, and had to quickly turn on the pace to try and get home. Johnson bowls again, dabbed into the offside, and that's a much better timed single. They both agreed instantly that there was one there, and it's nicely run actually, just a little drop and go. Score moves on to 35 for 1.
Bustly medium pacer. Grace Johnson, just 20 years of age, made a T20 debut for Thunder last year. She's just getting a little bit of kiss off the surface. I think that's what surprised Charlie Knott in that risky single in the end, with both batters sort of looking at each other saying, shall we go, shan't we? I think it's just coming onto the batters a little quicker than they think.
It's played late by Knott, just trying to work it down towards third. Fielded inside the circle, and there's no run. 35 for 1. Couple of balls to go of the 5th over. 123 is the target for Hampshire to make it back-to-back wins in the Vitality T20 Blast this season. Thunder looking for their 2nd win. They've played 2 coming into it, Thunder. This is their 3rd of the competition. Johnson balls again. Played late by Knott, just trying to work it down towards short third. And there's no run. Tidy stuff from Grace Johnson. 3 coming off the 1st over.
She's getting a good kiss off the surface here. She's got a good little action.
35 for 1. Final ball of the 5th over. In and Balls, that's pulled out towards the leg side, out towards deep mid-wicket, and it's gone for 4. Knott times that nicely. It's quite a big hit out towards the leg side in front of the hotel when the bowling's from this Brian Statham end, but played nicely by Knott. That takes the score on to 39 for 1. 5 overs gone. Target of 123 to win. A good way to end the over from Charlie Knott.
Yeah, it's. I think Knott there's just got the pace a little better. Just seeing there the run out on the live picture feed there. The direct hit would have been interesting from Fee Morris. Yeah, it would. But the batters were just looking at each other for what seemed like an absolute age. I mean, I was willing them. I was saying, look, for somebody do something, either turn back or just go. And it seemed to take a while to sort it out between themselves. But in the end, they were okay. But yeah, impressed with that first over from Grace Johnson, but it looked like Charlie Knott with that pull shot just got the pace a bit better. Start of a new over from Sophie Morris, who's a left arm spinner, and that's not fielded at deep extra cover. Very, very nearly.
Yes.
Is that Seren Smale out there?
It is, yeah. It's a big, I mean, it's a big boundary that. She's got a lot of ground to make up away to her right. She's quite square on that sweeper cover on that boundary. But I think she got to it.
Yeah.
Just managed to sneak underneath her body.
Again, good timing through extra cover from McGacken, 23 from 14. I mean, she really is making that area her own. I mean, last week against Essex, she hit several through that area really nicely. Cut shot this time, and it's going to be to backward a point. Seren Smale's running to her left this time. And again, the ball has just got through, despite the best efforts of Smale, and that's 4 more.
Yeah, it's almost a carbon copy of what happened in the previous delivery. Smale's got round, made up the ground.
Poor Seren Smale.
I know, she's got so much grass to cover there. She's got acres to her left and to her right. She's putting the hard yards in. And she's got to it, but just had enough pace on it to get underneath it.
On both occasions, she needed the ball to be about a yard closer.
Yeah.
That's Morris again. That's driven by McGacken, but this time she finds extra cover. So 47 for 1 in the 6th. Just the start that Hampshire wanted and Lancashire probably didn't want. Only Maya Boucher, the wicket to fall. Morris bowls again, it's flighted, that's driven. She's found the gap to extra covers left, but it's only a single this time. Seren Smale will be relieved that she's got to that one before it's gone over the rope. 48 for 1.
She's timing the ball nicely. McGacken knocks quickly onto 7 from 7, so really good response. 7. It's in the back of Boucher.
Definitely tell the breeze out there, can't you? Watch the player's hair as that's driven up towards mid-off. You look at the flags above the pavilion, they're really blowing, aren't they, left to right?
Yeah. It's a sunny but breezy day.
It is. Field's changing for Charlie Knott. There's a mid-wicket going in for her now, and 2 fielders behind square on the offside, saving 1. Knott is 7 for 8 into the last ball of the 6th over, last ball of the power play. Morris bowls, Knott loses her feet, doesn't quite get to the pitch, drives it to extra cover, and that's 6 overs completed. 48 for 1.
That's the power play done, and Hampshire women have made a outstanding start. A really powerful, quick start here in this power play, way ahead of the curve, and well on track at this early stage. Set a pretty high tempo here of Hampshire. Run rate's good. They've played some nice shots around the ground as well. Yeah, good start, good power play. Yeah. 75 from 84, and at the minute it's all under control. For,
6 boundaries out of that as well. Yeah, at the same stage, Lancashire were 20 for 1. So well ahead, Hampshire at this stage. There's still a long way to go. 14 overs doesn't sound a lot, but in T20 cricket, of course, that's nearly 3/4 of your innings. So, plenty of time for momentum to shift.
That is very true.
But Lancashire can't leave it too long.
Nope, they need wickets. They need wickets to apply some pressure here. McGacken on 28 from 17. Johnson sets off again. Keeper standing up. Just played off the pads down towards fine leg for a single. Edging towards the 50 mark here for Hampshire. 49 for 1. We're in the 7th. Brings Knott on strike. 49 for 1. Target of 123 for Hampshire. Grace Johnson from the Brian Statham end with that breeze pushing into her left-hand side. He's in and bowling, a little bit of width there and a bit of bounce, which makes it awkward for Threlkeld. Knott doesn't play the shot, shaping to try and cut it. Threlkeld does well to stop it. Dot ball, 49 for 1. Dot balls are good, that's fine. That'll try and help build some pressure, but Thunder need wickets. Can they chip away a few of this Hampshire batting lineup? Drag it back. In comes Johnson. Balls again. Driven in the air, bouncing short of cover. Tumbling stop, actually, by Lister.
It's good stop.
Work. Yeah, bouncing on one of the used pitches. Be a pretty hard landing.
Yeah, it certainly will. Showing her fielding prowess as well as her batting. Also Lister.
Yeah, 37 off 20 with the bat for Thunder to try and give them something to bowl at. Knott's on 7. Just back of a length that time. It's pulled out towards the leg side. And another tumbling stop by Smale. Got some help and some company with Fee Morris, and between them they can send it in. But Smale's had her work cut out in the last 20 minutes on that boundary. She's got so much grass to cover. Doing a very, very fine job. But relieved to have some assistance from Fee Morris, who sent the throw in. That brings up the 50 for Hampshire, 51 for 1. As Johnson sets off again, they came back for 2, so Knott moves on to 9. Johnson in and bowls, slow ball full, just trying to run it off the face of the bat down towards deep third, but Katie Mack comes up from short third to field, and there's no run.
Yeah, Knott's started cautiously here for her. McGacken's the one in form, that's for sure. I mean, Knott's in decent form as well, but no need to panic. They've had a really good start here, well ahead of the run rate, well ahead of the comparisons.
Yep, so far so good for Hampshire. Johnson in, balls again, back of a length and pulled up again behind square on the leg side. And will turn, oh, they think about coming back for 2, they just decide against it to just the single. And that does complete the 7th over. So it's 52 for 1, 7 overs gone, Knott's on 10, McGacken's on 29. And so far so good for Hampshire. Very impressive start with the bat.
Certainly is, yeah. Well, the way you said that, it sounds like you're making a move.
Well, I can't remember when you had to do an update for Radio Soul.
In about 3 or 4 minutes.
All right, I'll get Paul in and Kevin can come replace you.
Okay, no problems. Paul Short, former Lancashire Thunder head coach, coming in alongside me, Kevin James, in the commentary box. You're going to go off. He's going to go off and get some food, Scotty, because he's worried about the food running out. So he's going to go off. Paul, I'm sure, has already had some food. He will have shown some experience. He will have seen others having the food. He thought, no, I'm going to get down there pretty quick. I think I'll just move that wire for you. There we go. Am I right, Paul?
Well, I've just actually been tempted by one of the most beautiful smelling curries I've ever smelt in my life.
Fee Morris is on with her off breaks and immediately worked up to mid-on by Charlie Knott, and Hampshire move on to 53 for 1.
And with that in mind, you know, I did follow my senses of smell and decided to back up that with tasting the curry, which was absolutely delightful.
Oh, no, you're making me feel very hungry now as McGacken turns that away on the 45 on the leg side, no run. I saw Bumble, he's had some food as well.
He has, yes, he has. You know, when you're on and off, you've got to get in there quick, haven't you?
Yeah, well, that's why I'm hoping to get off pretty quick. Fee Morris, and that's helped away on the leg side, in the air, but safe, and it's running down towards the boundary. It'll be picked up by, is that Grace Potts down there? Yes, it is. 2 more to McGacken, takes her on to 31 from 20. Hampshire 55 for 1, chasing 123 for victory.
McGacken's developing into a lovely player, isn't she?
She is, yeah. She's been around a while, as you know. Oh, that's a lovely shot. Quicker ball from Morris, just turned away. Fine on the leg side. The pace was used by McGacken, and it's gone for 4. Yeah, she was a 16-year-old during COVID year when she started her Vipers career. I remember interviewing her when she scored her first half-century that year. maybe, without being unkind, maybe didn't quite kick on in the intervening years, but I think that 100 up at Southport against your team, I think really sort of confirmed that, you know, actually maybe now she's starting to maybe believe a bit more in herself. I don't know, Paul. I mean, you know more about that side of things than me, with being a former head coach. That's driven to extra cover, no run.
I think that's really important, isn't it? Because there's false belief and false confidence, and you get feedback from lots of positive feedback and things like that.
Morris bowls. That's worked by McGacken up towards mid-on. She moves on to 36, 60 for 1.
But actually, it's when you start doing things, scoring the runs, that really backs your belief and your confidence, and then you just go on to do it and do it and do it. You almost need that one innings. I watched that innings actually on Lancs TV, the one up at Southport. Thought she batted beautifully. Played low risk, high reward cricket, good percentage cricket, put the bad ball away, rotate to strike. Thought she played beautifully.
Paul, I've got to disappear. You're going to be joined by Kevin Howes.
Thank you very much. So the score at this point in time is 60 for 1. So Hampshire are 60 for 1 with not on 11 from 15. McGacken 36 of 23 and is playing beautifully. The current run rate is 7.50 and the target that Hampshire are chasing down is 1, 2, 3.
And it's going one way at the moment. One way. Okay. Start of the next over. Left arm round the wicket. Driven back by McGacken. Back to the bowler. Sophie Morris bowling from this end as she just, I say runs in, just a couple of yards. That's been lifted high and over the top. One bounce into the hands of the fielder here. Just a slight slip, but only a slight slip. No major damage done there from Norris. Well, I say neither damage done to the score or to her body either, because it can be a little bit awkward sometimes when you slip. Got to look after your ankles, but she's fine. 61 for 1 in the 9th over. Around the wicket again. This is top edge over the top of the keeper. There are fielders behind, but they've got some distance to cover. And now it really is a case of, and we mentioned this earlier, when you're trying to work out what is a good score, what isn't when you're batting first. You're going at it second time, you know what you're chasing, and they're just playing with so much more confidence anyway, and they've been really, in fairness, right from the get-go. But 62 for 1 in the 9th over. Around the wicket again, use of the feet. Lovely shot out there through mid-wicket. I'm tempted to say, with the fielder out there on the close in on the leg side, sent the keeper the wrong way there. And I don't mean the wicket keeper, I mean the fielder. She thought he was going to come to her left-hand side and moved, and then went, she was not where she was standing, 5 or 10 yards to the right. But they've got them running around at the moment, and in the shape of Knott and McGacken, they are well on top here, Hampshire. This is driven back up over the top of the bowler. Again, one run, just ticking these runs off here at the moment, but they've just had a more, I don't know, assuredness about the way they've gone about it all. And as I say, that obviously can be a lot easier when you're batting second. 59 off 67 is the equation, and they've still got 9 wickets standing. That's a lovely shot out there through extra cover from McGacken as well. They'll go just for the 1. Thought about coming back for a second, but go for just the 1, and that's the sort of stuff that there's just no need for any silliness out there in terms of the running. There was, you could always argue there's no need for it in the first innings, but it's just felt at times that Lancashire were just not at all sure as to what was going on. 65 for 1 off 9 overs, not 13. McGacken on 39, and that sounds ever so rude. I don't mean it as bluntly as that, but Paul, they just weren't sure. Is this pitch difficult to score off, or should we be getting more? Should we? And all that. And then those last 3 overs, when was it? 34 off 3. You could say that gave them something to work with, but it also gave us an idea of what can be done out there. That, I'm afraid, I suppose from a Lancashire point of view, I'd be saying I was a half full, not a half empty, rather half full person there. Because I'm thinking, well, if you can score 34 off the last 3, that probably isn't going to be enough runs on the board in the first place. That was my feeling at half-time. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the Lancashire batters just struggled, didn't they, to score on this pitch. Played on some free-flowing pitches recently, and this one didn't look like that in the first innings. But as you're rightly saying, the second innings there's that bit more confidence, surety, and you know what you're chasing. All of a sudden, it seems that little bit easier, and certainly Hampshire were making quick work of
this total as 65 for 1 with 11 left.
Turned 20 on Saturday. Darcy Carter in and bowling and driven back to her from the first ball. She bowls here. Played in the County Knockout Cup versus Glamorgan. Scottish off spinner. No Sophie Eccleston in the team due to an injury today, so she gets her chance. Can she make a big breakthrough? Well, there'll be runs scored off her second ball. I don't think it shouldn't be a 4 anyway. Sliding stop down here to her left-hand side, and they'll go through for 2. And the score moves up to 67 for 1 now in this 10th over. It's a very blustery day out there. But one thing that Lancashire just couldn't do is they couldn't really clear the fielders in the way that Hampshire have been able to do so. And this is driven back. Good parried stop there. I don't think that carry was at a drop. Did that carry there to her? If it was a very difficult chance. I'd like to see that one again, because I'm only going by their disappointment or the noise that was made. Did that carry?
Yeah.
Oh, it did. It did. I mean, that's a real good attempt off her own bowling, fingertips. I mean, that would have been a great introduction to the competition for her, but not to be. And another single up here to long on. And the score moves now to 68 for 1 in the 10th over.
I've been hugely impressed with McGacken and how McGacken's gone about her business. I think she's a good young player that's beginning to really establish herself in this Hampshire team now. Very impressive individual and a really good prospect.
2 balls left to this over, and it's the 10th over. And Hampshire doing really well in the chase. This one's pushed back up to the bowler, just out of her reach again, but this time along the ground. Not a catching opportunity. The target's 123, and they're going along really nicely here. He was at the halfway mark, and you sort of thought Lancashire got a few problems here, but still, as I say, very useful towards the end. This one is driven again to mid-off, and 1 more run. This board just keeps on moving for them as well, which is something that didn't happen in their first innings. But the score after 10 overs is 69 for 1, 54 from 60 balls at 5.4 and over. Elsa Lister, she showed how it should and could be done by just, I mean, there was a lot of power in there.
Yeah.
Up and over on the offside, and as I say, you are left with that feeling of, oh, this is good for Lancashire, but at the same time you're thinking, oh gosh, if this is what can be done, it should have been done a bit earlier. Yeah.
And of course, Lister got 37 in just 20 balls and showed that with a good base and good ball striking, you can score the boundaries at a decent rate. And she scored both offside and leg side. Powerful girl. Another Scottish international.
Yeah.
As we have Darcy Carter as well playing here today. So good young players beginning to come out of Scotland, and of course both of them part of the Lancashire setup, but they could have done with a few more runs a little bit earlier on to try and get towards 150.
This is Tara Norris about to bowl. 3rd over. 2 overs so far have been bowled, 18 runs conceded. She's bowling to Knott, who's on 14, left arm over the wicket, driven nice and firm, and a good stop, good tumbling stop there. And that's Lister again.
Yeah.
Right on cue.
It's really well fielded, that, isn't it? Because she hit that hard.
She did. And again, I'm going to give her not only effectiveness 10 out of 10, but a bit of style. That was never getting past her, was it? It was never getting past her. Not on 14, and again we'll stay on 14. This is better. First 2 balls of this over. That's behind square on the offside, but they need more than just a squeeze here. They haven't got time to do the squeezing, they just need the wickets. Wickets.
2 quick wickets here is what they need, to try and change the momentum in the game and change this game and get it going in their favour a little bit.
Norris comes over the wicket again in the bowls.
Like
That's
that.
in the air, out of the reach of the fielder by some distance to the end. I thought for a moment, a bit like you, Paul, that maybe they were going to be interested here, the 2 fielders out at mid-on and mid-off running, both of them running round, but actually it was actually really well placed in the end and cleared the both of them again, and that's going to be 4 more runs, is it? Yeah, I mean, looking at the replay here to get excited, but just confirming over the rope, and it's another boundary.
Yeah, another good shot by the Hampshire batter. Knott's just waited for that ball, powerfully hit that ball down the ground, elevated shot. Did hit the ball hard and very straight. towards our commentary box for a well-timed 4 runs.
So the captain comes out as word of the bowler. I presume it's the captain's suggestion to the bowler. Let's put somebody out deep, because that last shot, it cleared over the 2 close in. Pull them out deep. You know what's going to happen now. They're going to push and run a couple down here instead. But let's wait and see. Next ball, bowled, and that's driven to the one field that did stay where they were. This is on the offside, which was just inside the circle.
Yeah, just 50 runs required off 56 deliveries, so it's they need to be as tight as they possibly can in that ring and just do something to create a wicket, a brilliant catch, run out, whatever it takes.
Next ball, a little slower on the leg stump, worked on the onside, but again can't get it away. This is better, this over. I mean, there's been the boundary, which was in the air. It was uppish, and we thought maybe a little bit of interest, but actually was okay. We've had drop balls in and around it. So will it just be the 4 off this over? But it's that 1 wicket down, which really is really persuading those wondering where this is going to go. It's going to go the way of the visitors. Can Lancashire put a stop to that? They need wickets. This is in the air, and again that's cleared the fielder, and it's cleared over the top of mid-off. Running around from long on is the fielder, so that stops the boundary at least. And I suppose we'll come back to that in a second. Let's give the score to start off with. It's 75 for 1 after 11 overs, 48 off 54. That offers that extra protection as well, does it? I mean, when that fielder was sent deeper, I'm thinking, okay, catching opportunity, but just offers that double layer of protection.
Yeah, because Darcy Carter's gone really, really straight, hasn't she? Almost directly behind the bowling arm, which means then she can cover for the mid-off or the one that's on the edge of the ring. So only 2 runs there were taken, but that's still 6 off that over, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Which is at 5.3 an over required. More than all right. More than all right.
And reminder that the 2 batters in the middle, McGuckin on 42 off 31 and not 20 off just 25 runs. So building a good partnership, and each ball, each single, each boundary is a good step towards chasing the total down that Thunder scored earlier on today. And again, a reminder, just 48 runs to win off 54 deliveries, and Hampshire Hawks have 9 wickets in hand.
This is Carter to come around the wicket then, start the next over from the Sir Jimmy Anderson end, up and over the top. She's a tall bowler, but it's still out of her reach, and we'll go through for 1. We talked about points earlier. It's both men's and women's, 4 points for a win, 2 for a tie, but there are bonus points. There are bonus points in the women's competition, not the men's. Thank you to women's cricket, who just made that point on Blue Sky to me. We appreciate that. And now reaching for that, it's come off the gloves, I think, in the end of the keeper. Therefore, they will go through for 1. What's the signal going to be? There was bat on there as well. So the score now moves up to 77.
And that might have been a potential stumping opportunity. Very rare that you see Ellie miss one. It looked a difficult one, but we may see a replay in a little while.
Yeah, ends up fumbling at it. McCacken on 43, use of the feet, drive the ball to mid-off for no run. I'm never a big fan of bonus points within competitions. On the grounds, I can always struggle to work them out. But if I do, surely the audience will a little. Anyway, this one is driven. Most of the British public, thankfully, have more intelligence than I do. But anyway, is she hurt down there?
She is, yeah. Looks like
driven to sort of extra cover, and maybe just caught. This is Lister. Just caught nastily on a thumb. Is it the thumb that's the problem there? In fact, it could be any part of that arm she's holding at the moment. No, I think she keeps looking down at on the forearm. Is it? Yeah. She got down to stop the ball. It's crashed into it. She does look to be in some pain, but I think she's going to be okay. It's very easy for me to say that, but looking at that face, she's in some pain here, Paul. What happened here?
Oh, yeah, it just bounced up, didn't it? Just bounced up off the wicket end into her forearm, but that ball was hit hard, so it was going at a decent pace.
78 for 1, 2 balls left of the 12th over, and driven straight back at the bowler, who is Carter. Gets down and gets a knee to it.
We've still got a very strong breeze blowing across this Emirates Old Trafford ground. Very strong.
Plenty of air given that one. This could be a catch. And it is. It's been taken and caught there at mid-off. Everybody for one moment, I think, thought, did that bounce in front? I think that's what they were thinking. Everything just seemed suspended there for a moment. But it's the end of not for 21. It's 2 wickets down. There's so much more to do, but just a little bit of encouragement for Lancashire there. 45 off 49 at 78 for 2 in the 12th over.
And Carter's first wicket. This is a good catch by Grace Johnson at mid-off. Not hits this ball very, very hard on the up, and Grace manages just to hold on to that catch. She'll be delighted with that. Good young player coming through, Grace Johnson. But just a reminder that that's Darcy Carter's first wicket today, and not hits the ball on the full to mid-off, and it's just about taken and cradled by a very happy Grace Johnson, which takes the score to 78 for 2, 12 overs gone, and 45 from 48, Kevin.
This is why I don't like bonus points, okay? You get a bonus point. A winning team that achieves a run rate of 1.25 times that of the opposition should be awarded 1 bonus point. A team's run rate will be calculated by reference to the runs scored in an innings divided by the number of overs faced. Come on! But in all seriousness, you know, from your experience within the women's game, why would you have that in the women's game and not the men's? I mean, I know it's applied to the 50 overs competition as well, and it's sometimes to maintain an interest in the game a little bit longer, give extra incentives, but come on, really?
Consistency, I think, now is the
call,
isn't there, for me, you know, across.
Yeah. Morris around the wicket in bowls and defended. Back up to the bowler.
Well bowled,
off the bat of McCacken. Adams has gone out to join, but she's the captain standing at the non-strikers end at the moment. 78 for 2 in the 13th over, 45 off 47, with these 8 wickets standing now. And this is in the air. That's been nicely hit, actually, and that's going to be 4 runs. Brilliant placement, wide of long on. Really got hold of that well. Lovely shot from McCacken, and she is doing a terrific job for her team, steering them towards victory. Really enjoyed seeing that shot. Up and over. Doing a terrific job, as I say, for the team that have travelled all the way here today, and looks like they're going to be leaving with a victory under their belt, driven for no run this time to extra cover.
We were chatting earlier when we were on air, Kevin, talking around McGacken and her development in the game and the important 100 that she scored at Southport earlier this year against Thunder.
Round the wicket, bowls, and she goes for a stumping appeal here.
So,
just thread-killed, but nothing doing.
Being a really important moment in her career to give her that confidence and belief that she can do it, and from then on, she's gone from strength to strength. A very good young player.
Round the wicket, again full, works into a space on the offside. McCacken will move to 49, edging her way towards that possible half-century. Adams is about to face her first ball, but the score is 83 for 2. 1 ball remaining of the 13th over, 5 from this over so far. And Morris just together with the captain, who's sort of shouting at the other end from one end to the other, and fielders here just holding their hands and say, "What, me? Do you want me to? And where? Oh, so she's putting a fielder in here. This is Fee Morris. She's putting in on this sort of short mid-on area and dropping the long on right back out onto the boundary. That was the change that's been made. Adams will push this one up to the bowler for no run. Well, that at the end of the over, 83 for 2 after 13. Adams faced 1 ball for without scoring. McCacken on 49. Will that have been because, more likely, Paul, something they've seen in the way that George Adams gets out, or just the match position, or what would have caused that?
They've recognised, I think, this moment is the moment in the game where they're looking to get another wicket, and they've analysed quite clearly Georgia Adams over a period of time now, and sees early in her innings she sometimes just clips it very straight, a straightish mid-on in the air, so it's also that catching opportunity. So I think the sense this is the moment they need to get 1 or 2 wickets here just to create a panic in the Hampshire batting lineup.
And I'm guessing, in terms of this bonus points malarkey as well, with 8 wickets down, you've got to be thinking, making sure you do leave with the maximum. which is the 5 for the win and the bonus point. So that does come into play. It's just I wish somebody would sit down and work it out for me. McCacken's on 49. Will she get a half century here? Played away. She should do here. That's play behind square on the leg side. It's a 50. And it's a really good 50 from McCacken. She has been performing so well. And clearly is going to be part of this Hampshire side for quite some time to come, and could easily be steering them towards not only success here today, but more success as well in terms of trophies, because she really looks the part. She has played a beautiful knockout, 50 off 40 deliveries, and the team at 84 for 2 in the 14th over. And all settles down again for Carter, coming around the wicket, and this time to Adams. Good use of the wrist to flick that one away on the leg side. Probably settle for 1. J-Mo, I think, behind me is calling for 2. But thankfully, on this occasion, it's a very rare time I'd say this is, thankfully they didn't listen to him. Normally I'm saying they should, okay? But on this occasion, he just settled for the 1. 85 for 2 in the 14th over. McCacken's back on strike. She's on 50 at the moment. Southampton born, 22 years of age. There's not a single to be had there behind square on the offside. I'm obviously in form off the back of that 68 against Essex in the first game, and here she is again. Terrific knock. That's 50 not out. Comes around the wicket and worked out of the reach of the bowler up to the long on boundary. She moves to 51, and it's all nice and settled here. They're doing more than okay. I mean, it's a runnable at 37 or 38, but those wickets standing 8, 86 for 2. Adams on 1, and it's Adams who's back on strike. Trying to mix up the fielding here a little bit is the Lancashire skipper Threlkeld, but whether it's going to result in any wickets, time will tell. Use of the feet. Oh, that's a lovely straight drive, straight past the bowler. Crashes into the balls. We haven't seen too many to crash in over the boundary today, but that's certainly been one of them. It's a 4, and it's a terrific strike there from the Hampshire Hawks captain. Beautiful.
Yeah, great footwork. Down the pitch, picks the length quick as she possibly can. Moves down the pitch, strikes the ball under her eyes on the full for a really well-timed and powerfully struck 4 runs down the ground towards the traditional, historic old pavilion here at Emirates Old Trafford. Beautiful shot.
And this time has to be a little bit more cautious, but still in a similar area. Up to this time to the long on boundary, or at least 2/3 of the way there for a single. It ends that over. So it's 91 for 2. It's 32 from 36 balls. Adams on 6. McCacken on 51. More from you, Paul. And then it'll be Kevin coming in here.
Just reflecting on the innings that we've seen from McCacken, we're watching now. She gets into some beautiful positions. Lovely posture at the crease. Great balance. And just uses that body as she uses momentum of her body through the ball. Rocks back onto the back foot and plays square on the offside. Down the pitch and is able to play all round the ground. She's a very, very good player. And it's the calmness and composure that I think stands her in good stead. Her temperament's very, very good, and she's got all the shots in the book. Very good player, very good prospect, and I think she'll be a very good player for some years to come for this Hampshire side.
Still only 22, Paul, as start of a new over. There's attempted cut there by Georgia Adams, and that's a play and a miss. So we've got, is it Sophie Morris back? No, not Sophie Morris. It's Grace Johnson, isn't it?
Grace Johnson.
Grace Johnson,
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who was quite impressive, actually, for me. First spell from the pavilion end. First couple of overs went for 11. Here she is again, right arm over with the keeper standing up. Bowls. That's pulled away by Adams. There is a deep mid-wicket. There will only be a single. Not picked up cleanly, but it doesn't matter, as the players had settled for just the single. 92 for 2 in the 15th.
You can see what Thunder are looking to do. They're just doing all they can just to pick up a wicket and then maybe another, just to create that a little bit of pressure on this batting lineup of Hampshire. But at this point in time, Hampshire are very much in that box seat and are playing really good cricket.
34 balls remaining, 31 needed, and that will be 33 balls remaining, and still 31 needed after that missed cut shot there from Ella McGacken. Yes, you were right, and we were talking earlier. McGacken, who started her career with the Southern Vipers in COVID year 2020. She was 16 then. And here she is, already with 100 in the 50-over competition. That was against Lancashire. And here with a half-century as well, as Johnson comes in. Attempted reverse sweep, doesn't really get hold of that. Shout for LBW from Johnson, but didn't quite look right from here.
Yeah, good delivery though, isn't it? Good delivery, pretty straight, targeting the stumps, trying to bring all dismissals into play, focusing very much on trying to get the breakthrough that the Lancashire Thunder so require at this stage in the game. The score currently is 92 for 2 and 31 runs required off just 32 deliveries.
Bright sunshine here at Old Trafford. That's a cut shot, late cut shot, which finds a fielder at backward a point, and there is no run. So the two batters out so far. Maya Boucher for 12. That was in the 4th over. That was off 10 deliveries. Caught by Sophie Morris round the corner on the leg side to a top edge pull off Grace Potts, and Charlie Knott, who was out for 21 from 28 deliveries, caught by Grace Johnson at mid-off the bowling of Darcy Carter. Here's Johnson again, bowls, and just opened the body out there a bit. McGacken to find the gap in the covers, picks up a single, moves on to 52, and that's the end of the 15th over. So we have 5 overs here at Old Trafford, which means that we have 30 balls left, and it's exactly a run of ball from here on in.
Certainly is, and we can see on the worm graph that we've got in front of us now, showing to all the viewers just what type of position that Hampshire Hawks are in, and in a relatively comfortable position. They wouldn't want to lose a couple of wickets at this stage of the game, and that's of course what Lancashire Thunder would require, but at this point in time Hawks have got it very much within their fingertips, as we've got a change of bowling, and Grace Potts is coming back into the attack. She's currently got 1 for 14 off 2 overs that she bowled previously, I think. 2 or 3, can't see with my...
Yes, you did, yeah.
2 overs.
Well, I'll tell you what, it just shows how Ailsa Lister at the end has been important. Keeps Lancashire in the game, doesn't it? As it's pulled away by McGacken. She's found the gap behind square on the leg side. It's going for 4.
Yeah. Well, that's really well timed. She's picked the length really well, and then she just rocked back and just clipped it away off her hip. Just a little bit too straight and a little bit too short. McGacken is able to work that ball behind square for a well-timed 4 runs, which means that Hampshire Hawks get 4 runs closer to that target, requiring 26 off just 29 deliveries.
Now, you're pacing up and down in the dressing room, as you've probably done many times as head coach with Thunder. What would you be telling Grace Potts in this situation? That's a better ball, bit further pitched up, and it's bounced over the top of the bowler, but there's no run.
I'd be saying look to hit the knee roll, which brings all dismissals into play, and let's look to really hit that knee roll as often as we possibly can. Build a little bit of pressure and see what happens. And you might just get batter slightly going across the line and get an LBW, and then that can just create that little bit of panic.
28 balls remain and 26 runs are required as Potts bowls, and that's pulled away again in front of square this time by McGacken. She'll pick up a single and moves on to 57, which means there are 27 balls remaining and 25 runs are required.
Yeah, Potts 1 for 19 off a 2.3, and Johnson none for 13 off her 3 at this stage of the game. And Adams is on 7, and McGacken's playing beautifully on 57 of 49.
So it's Adams to face, pulls that away on the leg side. Now she's got in between fielders, but they've hit too well, really. So there's only a single. 26 balls remain and 24 runs are required by Hampshire. Well, she's trying to hit the knee roll by the looks of it, maybe just a fraction short, just a fraction.
Just a little bit too short, but I think that's what's in her mind's eye, and also she's going to want that fielding unit to be incredibly supportive and pull off any chance that comes.
Bolster McGacken is pulling that away again on the leg side, hits strongly but straight to mid-wicket. Again, it's a single, just keeps the scoreboard ticking. 25 balls remain and 23 runs are needed. Well, yeah, I mean, a little wobble here. and it could be a really tight finish. But you feel that with McGacken out there especially, they should be all right. But we've seen many of these situations, and we thought many situations go a little bit haywire. Adams works that into the gap on the next side. They might have to think about that one, because a singular ball, of course, is enough for Hampshire. That'll be the end of the over. So 24 balls remain, 22 needed.
Right, I think I'm going to vacate this hot seat, and I think the man coming in, blowing his nose, which tells me he's had a lovely curry and it's been a bit too hot for him, is just about to make his way to the proverbial hot seat, quite literally. Scott, did you enjoy your curry?
I tell you what, it's very nice. I know you had yours earlier, Paul. It was lovely, wasn't it? You didn't. You made sure you got yours in early, just in case. But I tell you what, you needn't to worry, because there was tons of the stuff downstairs, tons of it, wasn't there? He's going back for more. Welcome back, Scott.
It's hay fever. It's not the curry. It's a bit of hay fever.
Yeah.
That's what it is. What do you reckon? Yeah, this is going to be a good finish, isn't it?
Yeah.
22 needed, 24 deliveries left. Adams off the front foot, pushing it away to the offside. There's no run. You're backing Hampshire from this point. But when it gets down to these tight finishes, you're never quite sure, are you? Adams moves to 10, 21 to win, 23 balls left.
Yeah, I think where it gets even tighter is if your McCackens go, and maybe Adams pretty soon after, then all of a sudden you've got two new batters at the crease. You know, at the moment, yeah, it's tighter than probably I would have liked.
Yeah. There's Morris in, down the pitch comes McGacken, hits it back over the bowler's head. That'll ease any sense of maybe things becoming tight, as that's hit beautifully down the ground for 4. Good tumbling effort on the boundary down below to try and cut it off, but again, such lovely timing. 106 for 2 now.
And that's the beauty of having a player who's been in there since the start. You know, would a new batter play a shot as well as that, as comfortably looking as that? So when you do get to a situation where you think, oh, you never know, 2 or 3 dot balls, but a player like that can play a shot like that.
It's the type of shot that makes you think Hampshire have got this very much under control. Again, driven down the ground just for a single. It's a really impressive knock. This is an innings which is pushing Hampshire to the finish line. McGacken on 63 from just 52. Beautifully timed and well measured run chase. Yeah, impressive stuff from McGacken. Adams back on strike, 10 not out. There's Morris. Left arm spin, worked out into the onside by Adams. They'll shuffle through the first. They might think of 2. And they are denied the possibility of a second as as Morris comes up from the boundary to field. So 15 of 20 now.
Yeah, and you've got the experience of Georgia Adams as well at the other end, who's been in this situation so many times. It's not an ideal partnership at this stage from a Lancashire point of view, but, you know, it only takes 1 ball and then maybe another. But time is running out.
20 balls left, just 15 to win. McGacken waiting and coming down the pitch and driving the ball away through the offside. Just be a single as Potts comes up from the rope to field. Moves on to 64 not out. 109 for 2. 1 ball left for the 17th. 14 required now for Hampshire Hawks to make it 2 wins from 2. At the start of this year's Vitality T20 blast. Morris in, driven straight down the ground by Adams. Again, just for the single, well, that's fine. Ones take Hampshire comfortably towards victory from this stage. 110 for 2, 17 overs gone, and within 13 required and 18 deliveries to get them, and a stack of wickets in hand and 2 very set batters as well. One in particular who's had yet again another very good game against Lancashire this season.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to jinx her, obviously, but you know, she batted all the way through in the 50-over game at Southport. You know, that's what you want. You know, we've just been talking to Paul Shaw, you know, former Thunder head coach. You know, as a head coach, what you want to see is you want to see your opening batters on a run chase. You know, bat all the way through. Not just be happy with a half-century in T20 cricket or happy with a century in 50-over cricket, but actually be there at the end and see it through. And you can't ask for more than that. And McGacken, you know, is not far off doing that for the 2nd time against Lancashire this season.
Yeah, without too much fuss, with some very stylish shots in there as well. Those 2 cover drives early on in the innings were as good as we'll see through the course of the evening.
Yeah.
Some lovely shots.
See, we're now in an area that if it hadn't been for Ailsa Lister, we might have seen the end of the game by now.
Yep.
Got start of a new over, trying to work that away on the leg side. It's Darcy Carter bowling with her tall off breaks. Was that off the pad? I missed that one. It's a single anyway.
Yeah, it's been given us a run.
Yeah. 12 to win from 17 deliveries. Time is all but up for Lancashire here. Yeah, it was off the pad. Was it? Oh no, but it was an inside edge onto the pad. Looping full toss there as McGacken works that up to deep mid on. Moves on to 65, 112 for 2, 11 runs needed.
Yeah,
with 16 balls remaining.
Yeah, Lister's innings just gave Lancashire a little bit of hope, but it was quickly squashed after 3 or 4 overs with the way that Bouchier and McGacken started.
Yeah, 32 off the first 4 overs, which wasn't ideal, as that's maybe 2 here. They're running the first one quickly. Are they going to go for 2? Think about it. No. That's good fielding by Grace Potts coming in off the boundary.
Well, Lancs added about 30 off the final 3 overs, didn't they? And
it was 34 to be exact.
And then you're 3 overs into the run chase, and that 34's been knocked off straight away.
That's the thing, yeah. It wasn't. Lancashire needed a couple of wickets up top to stop Hampshire having any momentum at the start. Another single up to deep mid on. They're doing this in singles. 9 to win from 14. Every time I look at David Lloyd, he's eating. Curry, chocolate bars, and he still looks svelte. So 114 for 2. 2 balls left of the 18th. And it's Adams to face, the captain. 14 from 13, just a field change here. So Adams just moving away from her guard there, waiting for the field change, which is cover to deep cover. So it's actually presented a gap on the offside. And Hampshire have been taking plenty of singles recently. Low full toss, smacked away on the leg side. 1 bounce out to deep mid-wicket. Fielder out there is Fee Morris. And Hampshire move on to 115 for 2, needing 8 from 13. Hasn't quite got exciting yet. An exciting finish. Hampshire are doing a very professional job here.
He's got it under control, haven't they?
Yeah.
He's felt that way really since they went out to bat.
It's actually, yeah. As McGacken works that into the gap on the leg side. Run the first one quickly. Are they going to run 2 this time up to wide mid on? Nope, they decide. That shows they're not really under pressure. Sometimes you see batters say, OK, we're going to go for 2, but they're not really under pressure here. Only needing 7 to win now from 2 overs.
Yeah, job almost done for Hampshire Hawks. Ailsa Lister's efforts towards the back end of the Lancashire Thunder innings were very, very impressive, and without them, game's done already, isn't it? But in the end, even that knock from Lister and the way that Thunder ended their innings, just wasn't enough runs on the board. Didn't felt like it at the time, and
it'd be interesting when I speak to the Hampshire camp. Interesting to think what they thought of the wicket, because you know it was thought that maybe there was a little bit of dampness there early on today, which may have counted to the fact that Lancashire, you know, perhaps in those first 10, 12, 14 overs, perhaps, you know, it always felt as though they were 10, 15 runs behind.
Yeah, maybe that could be the case, couldn't it? Because it's a new pitch. It's not been used for a previous T20 match this season. So you're thinking maybe if you win the toss, you might want the first chance to bat on it. But maybe if there was a little bit of something in the surface early on, maybe Hampshire's decision to bowl first would kind of back that up. Penultimate over of the game. Could be the final one. Yeah, it's driven up towards mid-off for a single. First delivery of the 19th over pushes the required runs for victory down to 6 from 11. Brings Adams on stride. We've got Norris bowling from the Brian Statham end. They need 6 to win. Bringing up long on inside the circle, so there's just 3 fielders on the boundary. Deep mid-wicket, deep point and fine leg. They try and prevent some easy singles. Norris in and ball. That's run away down towards backward point, but fielded inside the circle. Lister with the work. Dot ball, still requiring 6 from 10. Adams on 15. Not out. Don't forget we've got another game to follow. 6:30 start. Lancashire Lightning against the Leicestershire Foxes. That game will also be available on Sports Extra 3, BBC Sport website and app, and across Lancs TV as well. As Norris is in and bowling a low full toss. That's driven away into the offside. That'll take Hampshire to within 2 of victory. That 4 clattered through extra cover.
That's the let-off ball, that one. He jumped right back in a crease there, George Adams, yet it was still a full toss by the time it reached up. I think Norris has probably gone for the full delivery, just overdone it. And that's the game now.
It's in the air for a second, but it was safe enough. And that 4, as you say, just takes away any possibility of pressure being cranked up. Norris comes in and bowls. It's clipped out towards the leg side, off the pad actually. And there's no run. 2 to get from these 8 deliveries. 121 for 2. Adams on 19. Yeah, really professional, impressive all-round job done by Hampshire with the bat. Nothing fussy in the run chase. Very calm, measured approach, and they're almost there. That's drilled down the ground by Adams, but to mid-on, and there is no run. Remains 121 for 2. So yeah, Lancashire Lightning against Leicestershire Foxes on their way from 6:30. And the second game of today's T20 doubleheader. Looks like the visitors in the first game are going to come away with the points. That's whipped away behind square on the leg side. That should be 4, and that is 4, and that wins the game for Hampshire Hawks. 2 wins from 2 to start this season's T20 blast, and a really professional job. Impressive performance with the ball, perhaps making the most of maybe some conditions early on, if there was something in the pitch there for the bowlers to use, but blimey did they perform well with ball in the field, and then a really stylish effort in the bat to clinch an 8-wicket win here at Emirates Old Trafford. Really good all-round performance by Hampshire.
Yes, it was. Carrying on their tremendous form from the first game against Essex last week, where they posted the highest ever women's T20 score internationally or domestically. So they came into this game, although there's a few days between that game and this, but they came in good form. And a lot of those top-order batters have just carried that on. McGacken especially. She obviously enjoys playing against Lancashire this season. But yeah, I mean, it was never really in doubt. Yes, it got a little close. 6 balls is probably a little closer than ideally you would want when you're only 2 wickets down. But Lancashire fought hard, but they just never really had enough runs to play with. And they'll thank Ailsa Lister for even getting them to a total of 122 for 8. But, you know, Hampshire bowled well early on, no doubt about it. There was a little bit in the pitch, no doubt. But I think Lancashire probably just have to find a way a little bit more up top to turn, you know, I mean, they were, what, 43 off 10. I mean, that's nowhere, really. You know, it doesn't matter how, and it wasn't difficult out there. They've got to find a way, certainly in the first half of their innings, to just maybe push the score on by another 15 or 20 runs. Because if they were another 15 runs today, you know, we're going into the last over with Hampshire needing 15. So, yeah, there's a little bit to work on from a Lancashire point of view.
Yeah, Lister showed that you could make contact, you could score, you could try and push the score on a little quicker, but wasn't to be for Lancashire Thunder. But yeah, a really good all-round performance by Hampshire, and yeah, good start for just to wrap up on Hampshire, Kevin. A really good start, 2 wins from 2 early on. Long campaign, isn't it? But a really good start.
Oh, it certainly is. And they're at Surrey tomorrow for a double-header at the Oval, so another stern test. But you know, these were 2 in-form sides today. But I think what we've seen today, that Hampshire are perhaps the more informed side.
Thanks, Kevin. Really enjoyed your company as ever. Safe travels back to the south coast a little later on. Congratulations to Hampshire Hawks, a victory over the Lancashire Thunder. I think we're going to head pitch side and join Fraser Dent.
Yeah, 122 was always going to be a very difficult total to defend, and Hampshire did a really good job, Paul, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Look, Lancashire Thunder will be clearly disappointed, and they'll look back and know that they didn't quite get enough runs in that first innings. Ailsa Lister did her best, didn't she, with that 37 off 20. But then the Hampshire bowling unit and fielding unit, I thought, did an incredible job to maintain such a small score on what looked to be a fairly tricky wicket just to start with. And then as things settled down, then Hampshire came out and knocked that off fairly comfortably, really. Although they never got miles ahead of the game, did they? I mean, there's just one over to spare when they won, but the way McCacken played, she's a beautiful, beautiful player. She played fantastic cricket all around the ground, composed, really good temperament. Played low risk, high reward cricket, and the captain Adams supported her, as is Boucher early on in the innings, and not as well. So I think a comfortable win in the end. Couple of things for the younger players with Thunder. I thought Grace Johnson bowled really well, Sophie Morris bowled well. As I said, Lister also batted well in that first innings, so it's not all negative. There's some positives within there, and especially with it coming from some of those younger players.
Yeah, you got to hand it to Hampshire in terms of the professionalism of the performance, and like you say, terrific in terms of the bowling and fielding unit, keeping it very, very tight indeed to restrict Lancashire to such a relatively low total, and then to see it through professionally without any fuss, any messing. I mean, Boucher we thought might give a little bit of the door opening for Lancashire there when she was dismissed early on, but they saw it through easily. And McCacken, as you say, a brilliant innings from her, and Georgia Adams, as we expected, playing a captain's role.
Absolutely, and that's what the game's about, isn't it? You don't want to be a coach having a white knuckle ride sat there in the dugout, do you? You want a nice, calm, composed knock and partnerships, and that's what they did throughout that innings. Ruthless performance, composed performance, and very, very professional. Did the job with the bat, did your job with the ball, and did your job in the field as well. So very professional performance from the Hampshire Hawks.
Kind of game that you think that some of these Lancashire Thunder players will be able to learn something from?
Yeah, absolutely. They realise that when they get in those situations, batting-wise, and the ball's not coming on so well, it's just a case of getting in, building a partnership, putting the bad ball away, and then really pushing on. So I think they could have got another 20 runs today, maybe about 145, 150. But from where they were at the midway stage, they'd be thinking if we can get to 130 with it in the game. So it's just learning how to work through those situations when they're a little bit more difficult than they've recently experienced, because of course they're in good form, they've played some good cricket. Today they're on the wrong end of that.
Well, not the result we wanted. Paul, thanks for the moment. Paul will be back a little bit later on because, of course, the Lightning, the men's team, will be up in a little while. Leicestershire Foxes are the visitors in just under an hour or so before we get things underway here for our second game of the evening. We'll be keeping you up to date with that one all the way through, and the toss in just under half an hour or so. So stay with us on Lancs TV in a little while. But in the meantime, get on the socials, send us a tweet, send us a message on Instagram. Let us know what you thought of today's performance, and let us know what you're up to in terms of where you are around the world watching this game this afternoon. First ball flyer still to be claimed as well. That'll be coming up too. Join us again in a little while.